I mean, they come in hot favourites. They should be able to play their brand of footy, but there's a little bit of the unknown about what North Melbourne are going to do. They've had their backs against the wall for a period now. They play well under the roof here at Marvel. You take it back 4 or 5 weeks ago and they absolutely demolished Melbourne in the final quarter. So I think they'd be wary, but Essendon would be focusing on playing their game and just getting it up and going.
All right, Thursday night football, a rare opportunity for a standalone game for the Kangaroos. Only one win for the season. Gary Moorcroft has got the siren running for the Bombers. 3 and 3. Yes, Brad Johnson will be steering clear. All right, time now to hand over to the #1 sports caller in the country on Thursday night football on Fox. It's Matthew Hill.
Terrific, Howie, under the lid. So Essendon coming in 3 and 3. North Melbourne 1 and 6. And it's been a build-up, a dramatic build-up, particularly for the Roos. Plenty of talk. Now it's time for some action. Sherry and Goldstein against his old mob to do the business as the countdown continues on the big screen.
Sheasel to half-back. That's where they need him, distributing that ball, creating, changing lanes.
I like Parker in the middle here too to start as well. Get your big bodies in there.
Essendon home game. They beat North by 40. The corresponding match last year. So it's prime time action for Essendon and North Melbourne. Sherry and Goldstein, both pictures of concentration. Sherry wins the first bounce. Down to Davies Uniac. Quick hands to that man Sheasel. Got a hurried kick away. Dodging Parker. Came out to Merritt. Merritt's blazing ball inside 50. It's a good clean start, Perkins.
There was Parker that lined up on Merritt early. Asked the question who was going to tag him. Parker goes to him at that first centre bounce. The ball bounces fortuitously, and this left foot kick inside 50 did not have to move here. Perkins just laid out beautifully and hit him straight on the chest.
Yeah, I think Phillips will get to him. He's just starting on the bench. I mean, what a start for the Bombers. Great harassment there after losing the initial clearance to LDU.
Career best 2023, still developing his game. Is Archie Perkins. He's kicked a goal a match so far this year, and that's pinpoint accuracy. What a start. Straight through the middle.
Well, ball use is king. I mean, this guy, what a leader he's been, Zach Merritt. When you give him the ball, you bleed. And we talked about the opportunity to tag him, but at centre bounces, it's 3 on 3 at ground level. Now, Sheasel was almost free there, but Hobbs just does the job. Does enough to disrupt the kick. It goes about 6 metres. It's an awful turnover, really. Those short turnovers just kill you because it goes back at maximum speed the other way. Great defensive harassment there from Hobbs.
I love that from Hobbs as well, going to the left foot of Sheasel too, as he was coming off the back of that square with him. When you've got a damaging player like that, and they are dominant on one side, so take that away from him, forces Sheasel back on the right foot into the muck of the play.
Fantastic vision too from Merritt, kicking across his body, targeting Perkins. So wonderful start in just the first 50 seconds. The Bombers are on the board. Goldstein and Sherry. Parker. Davies Uniac applies the tackle.
Thanks, Will. Back this way.
Centre field in the middle. Looks like he's standing. Davies Uniac at the moment. A couple of big bodies. Langford starting up the ground. One on by Power. Got an important touch. Now he has to get rid of the foot. He managed to get it to boot. Davies Uniac supplies the body. Centre field comes again. Caught in a good tackle by Parker. Out the back to Martin. Further on to Langford. Another tackle applied by Power. Turned over. Good aggression.
Davies Uniac goes short. There's Dersma, darting ball inside 50, taken by Larky.
Great ball use there from Dersma. Didn't blast away. Sort of be key forward leading out. All he needs is a metre, Nick Larky. With the arms extended, takes a great mark against former teammate.
There's 5 off the Coleman at the moment, with King leading.
Can't three-quarter kick this one as too, which is normally just sort of pokes him, gets him to the line. This is going to take his best effort.
It's averaged 2.6 goals this season to date, but this will be just outside the chalk, as Jack mentioned. Sinks his slipper into it, but didn't get any purchase on it at all. No mark taken off the bonds of Sherry. And now Kako has a little bit of room to move and run and kicks outside 50 in the Sheasel direction, and Merritt. It's a really good battle in the air. Merritt won the football, flicks it in the Durham direction. It was met hard. They still win the football though. To the Bombers. Wright's good spotting inside 50, Langford.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in the pre-game. That's Luke Davis Jr. You've got the ball in your hands. You've got to be stronger with possession. He just got taken clean from him. He got stripped. It's twice in a row now for LDU. There's that little give that doesn't quite get there. You get burnt hard on turnover, and the Bombers go forward unopposed again.
3 more metres.
Gee, they're slick with the ball, the Bombers.
Big 15 goals for the last 12 games last year. Did Cole Langford. He's kicked 3 goals for the campaign. He's only played 2 games this year. From 40 out, makes no mistake. It's a clean start for the Bombers.
Just had an initial exit out of D50 for Essendon. It was all North Melbourne. They'd set themselves up. Zach Merritt just got a hand in on Sheasel contest, and from here,
He's got the
contest.
ball. He's got the ball there. He has to be stronger than that. I mean, this is a guy that's one of your top liners, signed to a long-term deal. He's got to ensure that ball gets from inside to out clean. And just here, you can see, Daniel's done the right thing. There, he has to make sure that ball gets to a kangaroo on the outside. Great work again. To hunt, they're just hunting well, the Bombers. Hunting turnover, putting speed on the game. Gresham on that occasion.
Under pressure early, the Kangaroos giving up 2 goals in the opening 3 minutes on Thursday night football. Perkins and Langford. Goldstein and Sherry in the middle again. It's a wrestle. Setterfield tracks it. It's Perkins in his side, his own teammate. This time Davis Uniacke does hold the ball in.
See that there, Uniacke just puts it into his arm. It's actually the one that goes up high. That's the one that spills out. Tuck it on your arm and drive your legs.
Sherry, Powell. Inside 50. Chance for the debutant, Finbar Maley.
Just see the physicality in the ruck work here. Sherry just trying to work over Todd Goldstein.
Goldstein receives it. Sardis can't get clear.
Just watch the early body work that Sherry puts on to Todd here.
Goldstein narrowly in the Sardis direction. LDU taking the ground and holding the football.
I know that's holding the ball, but now it gives North Melbourne a chance to get back. He hasn't coughed that up. It's not a quick turnover. He's actually slowed it down, and North have set up well defensively at the moment.
Starting ball to Merritt to Martin. Oh, kick right up the middle to Kako. Has run in Hobbs. Hobbs has to dodge Archer. Gets around him okay, and then kick to Perkins. He'll be kicking from an identical position in the first kick for goal.
What a kick to the middle of the field. I mean, that's just delicious from Martin. You saw Kako out the back, 5 metres. Yeah, it's not a word I go with often, but it is just beautiful. Out the back and gone, Kako.
There's a few side glances here in the comments box when the word delicious came out.
Yes, we caught those.
So this will be just outside the 50-metre arc as well. He's already kicked one in the early stages of this. And what about that? It's prime time Archie on a Thursday night. He's kicked 2 already.
See, they look slick, don't they, the Bombers? I mean, ball in hand. It was Martin, as we said, just taking the risk to bite off corridor. I mean, it's a big gamble there. He just pierces the zone, quick handball, and that kick there, he summed it up so quickly, Martin, and the execution's perfect. Quick handball give again. They've just got the Kangaroos all at sea behind the ball because of the corridor access.
You can see North Point all 1-on-1 at the moment. Don't have that general bite. In this picture here, everyone's got a man. You need to have a spare out the back so that you can prevent this sort of over the back of your defence kick just to come up. But Essendon Smalls exposed him. You see Hobbs and Kako both getting involved. Their leg speed from half back, the way they're generating that ball. Got to have a general behind to catch that one like that.
Essendon have had 19 disposals and already kicked 3 goals. Worst possible start for the Kangaroos after a tough week. Can they respond? Sherry.
Coming back this way, guys. Thanks, Todd. Tristan, keep them ready, please, guys.
Will Phillips picks himself up off the ground. It's a wrestle again between the two ruckmen. Setterfield didn't take possession. He'll get a free kick holding the man.
That's the free kick. Time back on.
Just need to hold up here behind the ball. So 3 inside 50s for the Bombers for 3 goals. So the back 6, the Kangaroos, need to face this challenge.
Redmond, the receiver, wobbles the ball forward. Jones is going to get a leg free kick. More concerns here for the Kangaroos. The leads come. Crosses the goals. Sets it up for Dersma behind. Play against his brother for the first time, Stevens. And now a hurried clearing ball from Jackson Archer out to the back flank.
Just got to slow down here, Nick Larkey. Full forward, right up the ground like this. Got to let someone else get ahead to kick the contest.
So at the moment, indecisive, goes long down the line. Darling set himself with a couple to beat.
Back, Essendon. Ridley.
And a free kick goes to Ridley.
Back here.
100th game for Jordan Ridley. And to Reed. Martin. This kick has to be accurate. And up the ground, Perkins. Playing like a man possessed at the moment. And then it's good spotting and a good kick to Langford. Running through Merritts. Then his kick to the pocket. Caddy couldn't quite rake it in. And out of play.
They look terrific ball in hand. I mean, they're going for difficult kicks and hitting them. I mean, he pierced the gap at half back there. Love what we're seeing from the Bombers.
Langford in the ruck. Outbodied by Sherry, who grabs out, gives it to Simpkin, tries to create a bit of space with a wobbling ball out towards wing. Larky's out of position. Gets an important fist on it away from Mackay. He's got Zerha in support if he can get a handle on it. Larky has a couple of goes, picked it up, 3 attempts in the end, eventually gets it to Zerha. Got one high, and he'll get the free kick. They get out of jail there, the Kangas.
So he went hunting for that free kick as soon as that player sort of lowers and leads with their head. I thought the tackle technique was actually pretty good from Mackay, but just got him on that bicep and then came up and across the jaw.
A much needed steadier. If you can kick this for the Kangaroos. 173 career goals for Cam Zerha. Directly in front. Turns to the North Melbourne supporter crew. Much needed.
And it's the same again, Jack. I mean, just the ball getting out the back. That last defender in the chain on that occasion is Ben Mackay. He has to make sure that ball comes forward at first. As soon as it gets out the back, you got Zerha and the retreating Larky. They're always going to engage in that.
Larky. A good effort to get a fist on the Larky. You're exactly right. They've got no defence behind there to protect them. Poor old Nick Larky trying to pick this one up. It's a key forward's worst nightmare, Howie, when the ball's on the ground like that. You're just praying for it to kick up to you so you can grab it and handball it off to your teammate. But Zerha finished strongly there. And a good celebration to the crowd.
So a steadier there, Jack, for the Roos to get on the boards. Here on Thursday Night Football on Fox. Sherry wins it down. Phillips out to Davies Uniacke. And that's a scrubber in the end. Durham working in concert with Roberts. Now McGrath with a bit of work to do. Reed, darting ball to the middle. Gresham catches the ball a couple of steps in front of Daniel. And then comes laterally to Redmond. So called to play on. Goes wide in the Perkins direction and punched out by McDonald.
You can already see what Essendon are trying to do off half-back. They want to expose North Melbourne through the middle of the ground. That shift in direction to come back to know that they've got numbers there. That's how they're generating fast ball movement from D50 into their own forward 50.
Perkins, Langford and Perkins with a second before Zerha with a response for the Kangaroos. Goals are plenty early. Past Phillips. Dersma. Back to Phillips. Too much on it for Sheasel. Danger here. But he can't manage to keep the ball in play.
Tristan. Essendon rock. Essendon rock. Kyle, Essendon rock. Thank you.
Langford again rucking forward for the Bombers. Sherry too big in the contest. Martin tries to scoop it clear by hand. Has a second attempt. Martin McKercher, ground level.
Cherry loves to grab these out of the ruck.
Well called. He did, Kingy. And it was Phillips who threw it on the boot. Scrap for it. Edge of the centre square. Sullivan goes in, wrapped up for a ball up.
Anytime he's against the second ruck, he just monsters them. He's just so physical. Wright's come up to take this one, so this will be a different story. Or one.
Sherry. Out it goes. Parker. Dersma. Side of the boot. And that is going to float into the crowd.
Stephen, a structure there. North Melbourne have got 4 players defensive side on their own. You don't need to have that many players there. Get through the stoppage. Be a bit more aggressive. You've got the dominant ruckman, so use it to your advantage.
Redmond. Little chip to Martin. Just a little nudge from McKercher to go on with. And then he gives ground.
They want corridor Bombers. They want to bring this in board if they can.
Kai's kick to a 2-on-2 in the pocket. Setterfield taken out of it. Kako came in. There's going to be a free kick, and it's going to Caddy.
Yeah, just got him high there, Charlie Conlon. Put his arm over the top of Nate Caddy. There it is there, just on the shoulder. Stopped him from jumping at the ball. Had a nice little run. I thought we were going to see a good hanger there. But this young man's evolving in front of our eyes.
Lucy, young sharp shooter. Gives it a ride. It's not bad. It's going to land right on the line. And over for a behind. So Howie, it's the start the Bombers were keen for.
Well, we're leading inside 50s, 7-3. The Bombers beat North the last 11 times they've met, stretching back to 2016. Larkey just behind the contest. And towards O'Sullivan, centre wing ball. Just joining us the subs, Menzie and Scott for the Kangaroos. Sherry's just dominating the ruck at the moment.
Well, he is. And he's just too physical for them. And he's grabbed the ball out of the ruck 3 times already. Tapped that one. It's their biggest asset at the moment.
Well, Goldstein having a spell on the bench. Back in the side after a couple of big injuries. Todd Goldstein. Darling can't escape the tackle from Zach Reid, who's looking more and more comfortable every time you see him play, Kingy.
Yeah, he is. Look, just fascinated by these stoppages at the moment, Jack, aren't we? Because you just got to get bang for buck here. Yeah. So 3 players defensive side. It's an overinvestment.
And Kingy, without Wardlaw, does that put more pressure on players like Powell and Phillips?
Well, it's got to do the job. Their midfielders of quality, just got to get the job done.
Powell's kick. A little bit of luck in that, Parker. So Parker looks further afield. Penetrating football, up they go. And the mark has been taken by Finbar Bailey.
There he is, the big jerks of Finbar. He's got great sticky mitts, this guy.
You called it, I love it.
This aspect, not so strong, but marking the ball in a pack, he's Levi Casbolt all over again.
You know his history. His father, Paul, came to Australia and played basketball. He comes round, they call him the Moose, and he's off the boards.
So good. That is so good. And every Kangaroo player getting to it emotionally, it lifts the team. It's a game they were smashed in the first 8 minutes. The Bombers all over them with their ball use. And they've just fought and clawed their way back in. What a moment for that young man there.
So that could lift them, the 4th debutant for North Melbourne. We're only in round 8.
Wow.
That's a cracker jump. That is a good mark as a young key forward. They've been crying out for this second key forward. They've toyed with playing Comber there and he's had some success, but I think he's the one behind the ball. They went and got Darling. Maybe this man here is the man to come in and pair off with Nick Larkey.
His sister Annalie also plays in the WNBL, so there's just height in the family. And what about the reach there?
There's something about a big man with a mo too, I reckon, Howie.
And the calls from the crowd of loose as it went through. That's the good stuff, Kingy, from the North Melbourne supporters.
Well, game on again.
So Moose Maley on the board. And they pick a couple back, the Kangaroos. Darling now in the ruck as Sherry's having a spell back towards Merritt. Takes on the body contact. Sardis now McGrath to Redmond. Direct ball out to the flank. Pretty good effort by Hobbs. Not left in the tackle though by Riley Hardiman. Back to Hobbs, kick smothered. Kangaroos lifting. Just misses Pry, good enough to pick it up. Now Jones wants to go back through the corridor. Scrappy hand pass. Pressure's gone up in the game. Redmond, Sardis, Pry.
And it comes towards the wing under pressure, Hobbs. Then Durham gives a bit of ground with a rifle hand pass to Redmond. They switch out to Reed. He goes out even wider as they work it through the middle. Bombers push forward again through Perkins, playing with confidence. Goldstein, little chipping ball, Martin. They thought it through and it was clean.
He's having a presence, this guy. I mean, this will be disposal number 6, score involving number 3. He's running riot. He's coming off the half-back flank, off Zerha, and just finding holes. The experience of Goldstein.
So one of the last players recruited in the year of 2022. It's fit in beautifully at the Bombers. From just inside 50, that never looked like missing. Gee, their goal kicking's good tonight.
Yeah, he might have rolled forward actually, Jack. It looks like he's gone to half forward. I mean, this guy can play anywhere. He's been getting a fair bit of ball down back. Just drops into a good spot here. Just drops into a little hole.
Smart, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a clever player. I think he's really important to the Bombers' game plan. Look at that there. It's good use.
It's the craft of the way, like he's starting at half forward and sort of making his way up around the ground and sort of roaming around half back. So you sort of think he's there, but his direct opponent has been Harry Sheasel. He's been lined up with him at stoppage at the last few stoppages, but this is incredible work rate, and the smart players put themselves in the right places at the right time. We've seen him delivering it off half back, then you see him marking it inside 50.
2 number 1 rucks back at it. Sherry taking the space of Goldstein, who's a bit sore getting up. Simpkin forward hand pass. Davis Uniacke was clever out to Parker. Here's the important ball inside 50. It's effective. Good build up out of the middle, and it lands in the hands of the number 41, Jacob Constanti.
Well, it's clearance work from the Kangaroos versus ball use of the Bombers. That's the game right now. So where the Bombers are a little bit vulnerable, in tight and tough, and they're getting exposed there, but when it's on the outside, that's where Essendon are just taking full control. So they're going to maximise their opportunities, the Kangas. It's a tough way to win, but it's keeping them in the game at the moment.
And by the Sydney VFL, Constanti from directly in front. Just slides it left.
If you are going to play that sort of stoppage brand of football, you must make sure that you're kicking in front of goals is straight, because you're not going to get as many opportunities from that compared to the turnover game.
Roberts bringing it out through Ridley. Spearing kick towards the wing. Caddy goes up, spoiled and out.
Of course, we know the Essendon Football Club has made the umpiring department aware that if you move on the mark, like Collingwood did to them last week, it should be a 50-metre penalty. And see the Kangaroos diligent to the task so far, but they want corridor.
Yeah, Mark, he was like a statue on that occasion, wasn't he? Sherry with the big fist, rolling football. Durham taken away from it. Constanti came in. Rapid fire hand pass to Davies Uniacke. Long probing ball towards the top of the square, looking for Zerha. It's picked up by Dersma. Both Dersma boys playing tonight, opposite teams. It goes out. Foot race. Hobbs and also Hardiman and out of play.
A bit more composure going through 50 there from Davis Uniacke. Has the ability to accelerate away, then steady and find an easy mark inside 50.
We'll have Hobbs, just tries to muscle his way through the pack. Going the way of Xavier Dersma. Just inches it forward. There is the father.
And there's the kick that's causing the problems.
So they come through the middle, then switch it back out to Pryor. Thought about the hand pass, plenty of space inside 50, drops it into the pocket. Wright makes a good contest. Merritt in a dangerous area. Martin hemmed it on the pocket. Centering ball, 4-on-1. Kangaroos cover it. And they're now going to exit through Stevens.
So Stevens goes for a run and then heads out towards the wing. It's a bouncing ball. Setterfield's the first there. The umpire says throw it in. The Essendon supporters hating that on the outer side.
You see at the moment, North Melbourne setting up defensive and stoppage, then working hard back, but when they go to exit their own D50, they've got no numbers to kick to, so they're playing a very defensive style of game. It's not allowing them to transition the ball from one end of the ground to the other.
Sherry down to Davies. Uniac immediately grabbed by Gresham.
Back here, guys.
So they nullify each other that time. Dersma comes out to Merritt. McGrath splits the middle, runs through with Dash. Roberts, Dersma, then swings around. He spotted Gresham, cut off by the big fella Sherry, dumps it on the boot. Ugly looking one towards Phillips, but it was good enough by hand. Davies, Uniac. Then that was cut off by Merritt. Roberts, Merritt, Durham was able to slip the tackle, inboard towards Goldstein. It sat up for a while. Setterfield came in, assisted, and then slammed it straight onto the chest.
And they are punishing Luke Davies-Uniacke for every mistake that he's making. You've got to guarantee that ball inside to out. If you turn it over, it was Merritt again. Jeez, what a leader he's been. With or without the footy, he's just engaged in the game.
And this man, Ben Hobbs, has kicked 3 goals. He's played every game this season. And this is directly in front, testing his goal kicking. And it's perfect again.
They're just exposing North through the corridor, and any turnover they get, they want to come straight back through the middle. The players are even turning that way. So you see here, this is a fantastic defence there from Merritt. But as soon as Durham gets the ball, he just goes straight back through the middle of the ground. This is that handball forward, but they are just coming back through and carving North Melbourne.
All 5 goals coming from the set shots as well, Jack. Deadly accurate, the Bombers.
Yeah, it is, and it's because when you come through the corridor, it actually opens up the middle part of the ground. It's pretty simple that the easiest part of the ground to kick goals from is in the centre, and you can see the access there. 3 players, easy lead up for the Essendon forwards.
So the Bombers skip away for the second time tonight, back to a 3-goal margin. Simpkin, Sardis, Setterfield, Davies-Uniacke, Merritt and Parker in the starting mids.
And this guy here is the only reason it's not 6 goals. Christian Sherry on fire.
The beast in the middle of the ground, very short to shoes.
Got to be 50.
Harry Sheasel, middle of marble. Drops it to the outer flank. Big fly with Zerha, McGrath. Harry kick up, clean bowls right. Comes back a second time, does Big Pete. Now skips out to Dersma. Sardis. McGrath falls. Under pressure immediately. North bringing a bit of defensive pressure through Stevens. And they managed to see it across the line.
That's an excellent opening field tackle there by Harry Sheasel. The hardest tackle to do when you got someone like that. That's Andy McGrath with a little bit of a twist of the knee.
Latter stages, first quarter. Sherry with the leap down to Davies-Uniacke and Sheasel. Davies-Uniacke trying to win the football for North. Parker taken by Dersma. Spilled to Gresham by hand. McGrath. Merritt through the middle. Kako gets on with it and kicks it straight down the guts towards Caddy at the back. He can win the football here. Snaps around with composure. Bang! Great young player. And a terrific goal.
Well, they are smashing them on the outside. This is clinical from the Bombers. They win the ball at half-back, they want corridor, and they get numbers to where the ball is. It's been a trade of theirs all year. Just have a look at the numbers arrive here. That's a wave run. Bombers in the screen everywhere.
Look at them ahead of the ball.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you charge? Why wouldn't you when you're coming through at that speed through the corridor? Forward's eyes just lighting up. Good to see Caddy get some reward for his hard work so far.
Just the lengthening there from Caddy. It's actually quite smart football. I know you want to get back to goal as fast as you can, but what's happening at the moment is Essendon are lengthening that deepest forward and is creating this huge hole. You can see this hole that he's created here. There's forwards out everywhere ahead of the ball. And he's the one that just does that critical contest there and a great snap around the body.
24-point game high margin. Kangaroos again under all sorts of pressure. Sarn stripped by him. Powell creates a bit of space, delayed the hand pass, then went long inside 50 by Boot. Maley's there. Don't get a hand on it, the debutant. Mackay needs to get rid of it under immediate pressure.
Tim again, the big man, involved in the game. Maley flew for the mark, recovered quickly. Took an eternity to get rid of the ball. Ben Mackay, not sure what he was thinking, but again, an opportunity from a centre-bounce clearance.
Yeah, and a different centre-bounce clearance too. Powell was able to just drive his legs out of there, and that's more what you want from North Melbourne than the handball game where we've seen turnover.
Already kicked one, has Maley from directly in front. Low ball. Just gets away from Finbar. But he showed a bit. He's taken a big contested grab and now a strong tackle.
Prefer him round the body. Maybe adopt the Sam Draper of that sort of position there. Kick the snap. First one went through truly.
Good teams like Levi.
Jones was screaming forward at half-back. Ridley ignores him. In the end, Sherry, but it's a block, free kick.
Charlie Coleman just got in there. You can see what he was trying to do. You just got to be a little bit more subtle about it.
2 metre Peter has it. So right. Further afield in the Jones direction, spoiled by Comben and also by Dersmer and out kicking.
And this has been the critical feedback for Alistair Clarkson so far this season is, can you guard the corridor? Can you defend the corridor? And so far tonight, Essendon have ran riot.
Kicked the first 3, 2 for the Kangaroos, now the last 3 Essendon. So why can't they defend the corridor, Kingy?
Well, they're just getting swarmed with numbers, whether it's lack of organisation, diligence to task, or just
They set
a
up
structural issue
defensively as well.
Goldstein had arms wrapped around him, gets the free kick in game 331. Debuted against Port back in 2008. Did Todd, oh gee, it's off the instep. Funny old ball straight to Parker. Nothing presents in the middle for Parker. Simpkin. Also forced to kick down the line. Larkey, front position, fisted away from him. Davies Uniacke, Parker. Out wide, Caleb Daniel. Spirals a ball forward in game 200. Tough one for everyone. Stevens overruns it. Dersmer gives it across towards McKercher. Creates a bit of space. Back to Stevens. Now Sheasel, one way, the other. Clever, back to Stevens. Third time in the chain. Sets it up for Dersmer. And Zane marks on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, great craft there by young Dersmer. We know he's an excellent player above his head, but it's a sort of vulnerable position when the ball's going over the back against a bigger opponent. You can tend to really push them hard in the back. He sort of just got up under the armpit there. I don't think Goldstein thought he was there and just craftily pushed out at the right time and took a really important mark.
Zane Dersmer. After the siren. Trots in. And shaves the outer side of the post. So a tough turn for the Kangaroos. They gave up the first 3 before a couple of replies. Then Martin, Hobbs and Caddy, the last 3. Quarter time under the roof, Thursday night football. The Bombers lead North by 22 points. And North's record of not winning a quarter, the first quarter all season continues. They've now lost their first quarters, 8 out of 8 this season. Quick break. Bombers lead North quarter time, 22 points.
And welcome in, folks. That's quarter time here at Marvel Stadium. Essendon taking on North Melbourne. Of course, Essendon kicking straight in that opening term. 6 goals, 1. Fantastic kicking off the boot. 37 lead North Melbourne. 2-3-15. We go 7 scoring shots to 5. Essendon came out running hard. North Melbourne got the next 2, but then the Bombers put on the next 2 to widen that gap out to 22 points. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm really looking forward to this game because North Melbourne's been playing some reasonably good football, but just not quite comparing against the good sides that they've been playing. That being said, Essendon is vulnerable, but Essendon can bring a little bit of form as well, as we saw last week. They played in spits and spurts last week against the Pies on Anzac Day. So should be in for a fascinating game here. I wouldn't write North Melbourne off yet. Should be a great game this Thursday night football. Just welcome in a few people, of course, into the Not Live chat. Annihilators in there. Adrian Sports Channel, 1995 Skateboard Store. How you doing? Blokewater supporter, cheers for coming in. Tino Bem Bem, the manager's in the house. And of course, Sheila, mate, cheer, mega love, shout out. Great to see you in. I'll give you a little bit of a look at the ladder in just a moment. Where these two teams stand prior to tonight. Let me just bring that in for everyone out there. Of course, North Melbourne and Essendon. Where they're sitting on the ladder, you might ask. Well, there we go. Essendon sitting in 12th position on the moment with 3 wins and 3 losses for the season. North Melbourne, they're down there in 17th spot. They've only managed 1 win so far this season, 6 losses, but don't worry about that. I think this is going to be a pretty good, even game. I think it's going to ebb and flow back and forth. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the team, at the players' stats at the moment when I just load this up and the goal scorers so far. Let me just come back to here for a minute. If anyone's wanting to know the first goal scorer of the game, well, it was Archie Perkins. Archie Perkins was the first goal scorer of the game today for Essendon. All right, and it looks like Archie Perkins, the only multiple goal scorer out on the ground at the moment. And, of course, he's from the Bombers. He's kicked 2. Nick Martin, Kyle Langford, Ben Hobbs and Nate Caddy, all singles for the Bombers. For North Melbourne, the Kangaroos, though, Cameron Zurhaar and Finbar Maley are the only 2 single goal scorers for the Kangaroos. The ball magnets so far out on the field so far after quarter time. Luke Davies, Ukanaki, he's tops the table with 9 for the Kangaroos. 3 kicks, 6 handballs, a mark and a tackle. He's doing quite well. And, of course, Zach Merritt tops the table for the Bombers. He's having a cracking year, is Zach Merritt. He leads the way for the Bombers on 8. There we go. Luke Parker, there we go, the old stager, playing his game 301. He's up to 7. Let me just roll these down because the commentators are back and we're going to get back down to the ground for an enthralling second quarter in just a moment. But I thought I'll just scroll these down just in case anyone wants to have a little bit of a look at their players, catch them. These are the disposal count, how many touches they've had. Kicks and handballs combined right there. That's what you're looking at when we look at the disposals for the players today. All right, let me just roll that back up. And we are going to head back to the main scoreboard. All right, folks, let's get back down to the ground. As I said, welcome in everybody. This should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. I expect North Melbourne to come back. As I said, they've been playing some reasonably good football without winning, and Essendon have been giving it a good crack in other games as well. So it should be a fascinating game, this one tonight at Marvel Stadium. All right, we are just under a minute away before the bounce of the ball. We're going to take you back down to the ground of the commentators, and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball, whereas the Bombers by 22 points.
And that's where Essendon have exposed them. And every single time Essendon get the ball, they are driving towards the middle of the ground and creating this sort of chaos in the North Melbourne defence where they've got to trade up and try and impact the ball from all different ranges of the ground. And you can see Caddy just gets out the back there. He was one of 3 players that was out the back there. And at the moment, North have no protection behind the ball. So set up a little bit more corridor bias and work from there.
Brad Johnson, Eddie Betts.
And on the back of that as well, Jack, and the way they're able to utilise the corridor is because some of their senior players really standing up in that first quarter. Zach Merritt, of course, and we like the game of Nick Martin so far, starting it half forward, coming up behind the contest, and then able to run through and really just control where he runs and controls the ball use for the Bombers. You can see here, here's an open play, which is fantastic. We showed this during the first quarter, and he just floats. North Melbourne aren't able to defend the right parts of the ground. The ball comes back into the corridor, and he's standing inside 50 all by himself, and they've used that short effectively throughout the first quarter. Goes back and converts nicely. So he's been excellent in their ball movement. Their skipper's been unbelievable with his defensive pursuits and being able to turn the ball over. And Ed focused on Isaac Kako in the pre-game, and he's also stood up.
Yeah, he is, and he's only had the 3 disposals though, John, but his work rate. He's been up. His first touch was in the D50, and then he got it, and you saw that vision just before. He kicked it at the back to Caddy, who kicked that goal. But what I love is getting to contest. He's getting to the front and centre. It's not falling his way just yet, but he has to continue to do that because it will fall for him in this game.
That's right. They've built good layers. Their 2 forwards come up, 2 sit between 50 and 70, and 2 back inside forward 50 as well, because they've got good ball movement, Howie.
Thanks to Brad and Eddie Betts.
If you want to know why the Kangaroos give up an average of about 120 points a game, which is far too much, it's just a lack of corridor coverage. I mean, you give good teams access to the fast lane, you can't defend. I don't care who you got behind the ball, you can't defend. So that's a structural problem that the coach has been unable to clamp all season long.
Essendon by 22. Archie Perkins with 2. Langford, Hobbs, Caddy Martin, the other goal kickers for Essendon. Goldstein at the back, won it down narrowly. Powell with the fumbles. Durham over the top.
Same way, guys. Give us some room here. Just in 1 metre, please.
So they go again, the 2 ruckman. Merritt just flicks it out. The long-range handball. McDonald's. Back to Parker. Clearing kick out to Stevens at half-back for North. He's got Daniel running for him. 200th game, of course, a Bulldogs premiership player. Fantastic that Tom Liberatore and Marcus Bontempelli were here to present him. He's Guernsey tonight. Long kick, only cut off by Redmond.
This is better. Luke Parker's sitting in the middle of the ground, sort of 45 degrees from the kick. He's the one patrolling it at the moment, preventing them to come through the middle. They have to go around him now.
So McGrath and then Reed's wobbly one is good enough to Langford's. And this is their work through the corridor over the head of Hobbs, goal kicker in the first quarter. Sheasel tackled, and now it comes out to Roberts and Kako. Now Perkins, darting ball, right.
He's got the trip from here, Peter Wright. He's a lovely kick of the footy.
And a couple of bites at the cherry. McDonald worked hard to spoil. But Peter Wright would be keen to get on the goal kickers list. There's been 5 in his team to date. So Peter Wright lopes in. It'll be from about 55. And has missed everything.
Stevens to reset for the Roos. Out to the city side. Maley through his hands. Parker. Darling waited. Back for Parker. Couldn't get the ball in play.
Tristan. Todd.
You see this kick here. Coming through the middle. Harry Sheasel setting up in their corridor as well. We'll see more of it from North Melbourne.
Sherry just dominating the ruck at the moment. Davies Uniac uses some strength. Ball needs to be precise. Trying to go through the middle. McKercher does well. Marks it out in front of his eyes. Progresses it quickly. A little bit too much on it for Dersma. Langford comes back to mop up. 1-2 with the skipper. Now Langford looks to the outer side. Goldstein. Perfectly weighted kick. Wanted to get it on by hands. To Perkins in the end. Goes to Roberts. Now Perkins in the chain. Kicked a couple in the opening term. Archie runs his measure. Delivers it inside 50. Hobbs with a little nudge. Touch ball, it's called.
Jump penalty, go through. Hey, bro. Jump penalty, go through. Yeah, go through. Xavier, twist inside.
I'm wondering if the umpire that was calling touch ball was behind Hobbs, so he couldn't really see that it was a touch ball. Anyway, play on, he gets a chance here, Hobbs, 3 second little pitch and went through for a goal.
This one's touched as well, I think.
That's pretty. So double check it was touched, mate. Look at that. Score review. Umpire's call is touched. Off the boot.
Well spotted,
Review underway.
Soft call, if you like, was that it was touched from Harry Sheasel.
You got the fingertips on the way through there, it looks like.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we'd see the ball's touched by the right hand of the North Melbourne defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
They just look like scoring all the time, the Bombers.
So that's confirmed it behind.
Really doesn't matter what facet, they're on the move, they're alert, they've got an opponent that they're comfortable with. Each matchup just looks so vulnerable.
Daniel takes a bounce. Short to Sheasel.
Stay out, Zach. Stay out. Stand. Plum. You. On.
Low ball for Sherry. Goldstein arrives with a fist. I mean, you hard it with Sherry tonight. You've done a pretty decent job for your team.
We heard him there too. Just a little bit of payback.
Kristen, can you move, you guys?
Toddy drove the knee right into the small of his back.
Shallow throw back into play.
North Melbourne. Stand.
Sherry gets the last laugh. Dishes off immediately. Sheasel. 55-metre ball forward down towards Darling. Pack of players fall to the ground. Into space. Darling again misses it completely. Good tackle, Gresham. They pay the advantage, and now they're away, the Bombers. Durham takes his time. Onto the dangerous Martin. Towards Big Peter Wright. Gets hands on a crunch from the side to get the free.
All credit to Nick Martin there. He was the one that started that play with Durham. And then as soon as he sees the corridor free, he just accelerates and goes through and wants to go through the most damaging part of the ground. Free kick here to Peter Wright, just front on contact. But every single time they win a ball across half-back, they are just looking to come through the middle. And Nick Martin's been playing half-forward, just rolling up. And he's been the most damaging player on the ground at the moment.
I think Peter was impressed by Callan Dawson just clattering her into the front of him. So had one shot from 55, couldn't convert. Second attempt from Wright. And a miss for the Bombers.
On the blue dot, Zach. Stay behind it. Play on. You.
So Daniel brings it back into play, targeting Davies Uniac, who has it at half back. And a spread it wider to Dawson.
They're happy to give up wide and try and keep them wide now. The Kangaroos.
So down the line, 2-on-2, out the back. Larkey waited for it successfully, came out to Simpkin. Simpkin with a vacant goal square. It's going to bounce through. Jai Simpkin blazing through half forward and an accurate kick, and that's better for North Melbourne.
Had them where they wanted them from a Bomber point of view, Jack. Had them hemmed in on the boundary line, and again, they've just allowed that ball to get out the back. Larkey again, just good body work long down the line. Just see him here come to the back, sifts out there. Mackay gets caught in the pack. Handball through, and a good finish from Simpkin, but they'll be disappointed with that, the Bombers. They had them exactly where they wanted them.
Go down, please, guys. Go down. Go split.
Nice finish there from Simpkin. Just snuck it in the post. Don't want to be relying on errors from the opposition in critical contests to score from. So North need to start to get a little bit more creative with the ball. If you don't offend through the centre of the ground, that's why they can't defend it, because they've got no numbers there.
Opening goal to turn the way the Kangaroos. Phillips. Sardis. David King, Jack Rewald, Matt Hill, Eddie Betts, and Brad Johnson on Thursday Night Football. Essendon by 22. At quarter time, back to 18. Free kick in the middle, another one to Sherry. Sends it inside 50. Down towards Larky's manhandled by Mackay. Falls to a dangerous area. Sardis gathers. Merritt. Now Pryor takes his time. Releases with a beautiful ball. Goldie, the one-hander. Showtime in game 3-3-1. Now Perkins. Back inboard. Nice build-up. Good tackle. Really well done by Riley Hardiman. Stopped Martin in his tracks.
Love this from the Bombers, though. Organised behind the ball immediately, ahead of time. Now, Kangaroos normally should be able to come back quick at them, and they can't. They're well set.
7th game of footy for Hardiman. Kicks in the Zerha direction. Beats all of them. Foot races on. Along the ground to Goldstein. It's a long way down. Now, Ridley. His kick along the wing. Looking for Caddy. Comben juggles it. Was able to pick it up. But there's a whistle. He was off to the races. The free kick goes to Essendon.
Aaron elbow, I think, there. Comben.
So Caddy, his kick towards the middle of the ground. 2 on 2. It's a ball to be won. What a good mark that was in the congestion from Redmond. He plays on quickly and hits the chest of Langford.
Gee, it's a great mark from Redmond. It was a horrible area to turn the ball over if he didn't take that big contested mark.
Plays on quickly. Oh, Martin was there in splendid isolation. He kicked it straight over his head. Was hoping for Caddy to lead out and take it. He's kicked it out of bounds on the full by the looks of it.
It's a great mark, this. You turn that over, it's 3v2 at ground level. You're in trouble.
Comben. And Callan Dawson. Someone to come towards him. Nothing presents immediately. Kicks down the line towards Larky. Mackay. It's been on him all night. Sherry. Simpkin. McKercher. Back to McDonald. 1-2 back to the number 10. Sherry. McKercher slight fumble at an inopportune time. Essendon come back the other way. Ball spills free now. Centre wing. Good tackle on Hobbs by Parker. And he's rewarded with a free kick.
Not sure I've seen the team fumble the ball as often as the Kangaroos tonight.
Sheasel's kick to O'Sullivan. Also his 7th game of AFL. Kick towards full forwards. Hoping for Larky in from the side. Couldn't quite complete the mark. And then Roberts just dumps it on the boot and they'll get another go.
Everything's just so wide for North Melbourne at the moment. They just don't look to come in the middle of the ground at all. Just take a few risks to get it in there. You reduce where your forwards can lead to. All these leads go into the forward pocket. Hard to kick goals from there. Just open it up a little bit. Even this kick here just need to come in 15, 20 metres sideways.
And thanks to that Simpkin goal, they're 3 goals behind here, North, so they're in the contest. As the kick towards the square, oh, they fly. It's Reid at the back, puts Martin under the pump. Chance, another one for the Roos. Offline from Dersma.
Good work from Zerha, good hustle. Almost forced the turnover goal.
Redmond. Piercing ball to the outer side. Caddy goes, should be the hang time. Does well to gather up at ground level. Exciting young player. Jones gives up ground, just toe pokes it back to Redmond. Good luck to him in game number 100. Ridley.
This is where Essendon will try and pry them apart. Open up that middle part of the ground where they've been so dominant tonight.
Ridley gives it back to Reid. Senses something down the line backward or started with Caddy.
Outside 5.
Looks for Langford. He's got a couple to beat. McDonald clears the danger area.
You look for the small wins if you're North Melbourne there, the ability to force them down the line. Here's that mark from young Nate Caddy. You get used to seeing him elevating up. So it wasn't a mark, but just the ability is a good key forward end to get back on the ground ball as well.
Wright and Sherry in the ruck this time. Shallow throw in. Wright just patted it down in the Durham direction. Then they coughed it up. Davies Uniacke towards Simpkin. Simpkin retreats back. Powell. Sheasel. Powell. Long ball over the head of Darling. Set up for Zerha. Then a dinky check side towards the pocket. Is it good enough for Larky? Not quite. Little kick along the ground, Constanti. Cut off by Martin. Then Jones. His kick partially smothered towards the outer side. Setterfield, good contest from Darling, and in the end, given away a free kick, Setterfield.
Good arm wrestle going on here. They know the importance of the next goal. Either way.
Setterfield towards centre wing, right. Caddy gets in front position, takes a strong mark in the pink boots. And pass was a touch, Aaron. Back towards Caddy now. Having a presence is the young man. Spirals at 60 metres down the outer flank over the top of Langford. Davies Uniac sets a task for the young man in Riley Harding, game number 7.
That's what we're talking about with Davies Uniac. He's just out of sorts at the moment. I mean, he's handled that back into traffic to a player who's got nowhere to go. The youngster in Hardiman.
Hobbs grabbed by Sheasel.
You'd love to see him step and charge and threaten a gap and then see if he can find a clear teammate in open space. He's working hard, just not happening for him at the moment.
Sherry to Davies Uniac, standing tackle, Sartis and Hobbs.
Tristan Peter, yeah, back him out.
On the ground, Davies Uniac, Hardiman. Out it comes, O'Sullivan, Archer. Was hitting the ball really hard. He was taken high. High one against Redmond.
Just holding his hamstring as well at the moment, Archer. I think it was just a corky.
Yeah, it looks worse than that.
You got to go off then. He's got to go off then, yeah.
Looks like a bad one.
Yeah, not being corky or anything. Caught the knee just into the hammy there. Mason Redmond.
Because the corky's been the theme of this week with Wardlaw out with what Alistair Clarkson called a savage corky. They hurt.
Medical term.
Sheasel out to Hardiman.
Inching ball forward, precise. Stevens does well, marks on the run. And North build off the wing. Accesses the corridor by foot. Driving ball down towards Darling. Not really in the contest. Larkey does well, ground level, stripped away from him, holding the pill. Good tackle.
Yeah, Bill Setterfield. Stand.
It looked well set behind the ball, the Bombers, all night. Oh.
Setterfield's having an impact. Sets a task of Caddy. His aerial abilities get them out of trouble. Back by hand now, Pryor, the former line. Pretty easy step on the end on Constanti.
Kick in the Langford direction. Almost spoiled by Dawson. Got a free kick. Plan was the call. I don't think he had much advantage at the end. In fact, no advantage. He was grabbed.
This is where the opportunity lies for North. The side that's looking to be aggressive through the middle, you can actually turn the ball over.
Look how set they are behind the ball, Essendon. It's as good as I've seen them ahead of time.
Dawson to Daniel, who just blazes away. It's a high ball. Larkey taken off at Redmond. Out wide he goes to Ridley and Martin. So they were prepared for it, as Kingy mentioned, and now off the slingshot. Kick from Hobbs. Perkins with a couple to beat. Not too many forward of the ball. Has to win it first, and out of play, McDonald taking him out.
So it's a really good defensive set behind the ball. They've had 16 inside 50s, North Melbourne, for just the 3 goals. I love how they're getting back immediately. Okay, turnovers are going to happen, but this is as good as I've seen them defensively for a while.
Let's look at that replay of Archer. He seemed to be in pain before the tackle, so maybe he's shaping towards a hamstring. Hopefully all's okay down there. Eddie and John will keep us across it. Merritt, rare error ball forward. Uncontested for Hardiman. Just the distance back to Caleb Daniel. An effort the Bulldogs on a premiership.
Yeah, this is terrific. You can see the Bombers here just rolling and covering, working together. Good cohesion. There's no easy outs for the Kangaroos.
Just again, required distance. Stevens in the chain a couple of times. Powell. And messing around with it. Should get out of it now through Comben. Again, just a short ball. Sheasel.
It's really good defence, isn't it? It's really good hustle.
Sheasel's low ball, coughing it up to Dursba. Merritt, Martin. Chip in the air to Hobbs. Bit hot for him. Falls out the side to Jones. Can he pick it up? He's got a touch of the fumbles. Hardiman goes in, grabs him. North are going to win the football again. Phillips, Sheasel, O'Sullivan. There's going to be a downfield free kick. I think I overheard the umpire. It's getting a bit loud here at Marvel. It's going to be a free kick to North. And it's going to Sheasel.
It's downfield. Harry wants the kick.
So O'Sullivan will get it. He was the recipient of the handball initially.
This is very stagnant from the North Melbourne point of view. It's allowing Essendon to set up strong. He got it.
Down to Eddie Betts.
Bailey Scott has got the T-shirt off and getting warmed up and ready to come on. So it does look like that hamstring with Archer. So I wish him all the best.
There's John Lindsay, the starting sub as well for Essendon tonight.
Yeah, this is brilliant from Essendon. There's no easy outs. They're forcing them long. They don't want to take long. And they really hem them in and force turnover.
Dursma looking for Langford, worried out of it by McDonald. Umpire says throw it in.
I mean, we've had a stalemate. There's been minimal scoring for 10 minutes, but I think Brad's going to be thrilled with what he's seeing. It's not as delicious as the first quarter.
Right.
You're going to get sued for copyright, you will.
I know.
Setterfield over the top, couldn't grasp it. Sheasel throws the slipper into it. Larkey tapped it down. Grabbed by Roberts, who was driven into the turf. And just a few words as well. But Stanty not appreciating the conduct.
Thank you. No.
Essendon by 22 at quarter time, just one goal for the term, the way of Simpkin and the Kangaroos. A 17-point margin. Hang in there, the Kangaroos. Sardis tries to break the tackle. Gresham. Jones. Drives a long ball. Hits Merritt on the chest. Gresham's run really hard from initially delivering it. Sprinted 120 metres. And marks in the pocket.
You saw the space Gresham there to get into. Smart by Merritt as well. Just to get out on this lead here. Crafty player. Value on the ball through half forward, especially this sort of launch zone area, to be a smart little kick there for Merritt, who you think will go around the corner from here.
Saints leading goal kicker back in 2018. 4 goals for the season for Gresham. The opener for the term for the Bombers. It's on the fat part of the ball. And the Kangaroos have got the defensive covering. Coleman wasn't happy with the treatment from Wright. Just the temperature increasing in the game.
Sheasel. Beautiful drop punt again. Sherry has 2 to beat. It was a difficult task that time. He lost his footing. Ridley towards half forward. Perkins with the football. Had such a good first quarter, but he was taken at a good tackle. Another good tackle. Play on is the call. Ridley went in without it. And now Phillips trundles it forward. North fighting hard. Over the top that time, Reid, and a ball up. Gee, a goal would be worth gold here at the moment for North Melbourne, as Sherry had a fresh airy. Jones went in. Sartis, was he taken high? Yes.
And I think that's the risk that Tristan runs into. Grabbing the ball out of the ruck. Sometimes the next option is to handball from that initial possession rather than try and kick. Much productivity comes from ruckman kicking from that position.
Jordan Ridley going down the rims as well. He's had his soft tissue injuries. Hopefully all okay there as well. Nice hand pass to Kako, the dangerous one. Can't quite get through the tackle right. Quick hands back to Gresham. Had a good little patch. Great tackle, Sheasel. Stopped his progress going forwards, but Hobbs has got one high. So 2 great tackles and one that slipped high.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, that last tackle there.
But they keep fronting up the Bombers. They just keep turning up in waves. And yeah, they draw a free kick in the end. You can argue whether it's high or not, but it clearly is. I'm a fan of what they've done tonight, the way they're playing.
Kick to go in the opening term. Did Ben Hobbs. Hangs it out to the right.
I reckon Todd Goldstein should be on the line there as well. Like standing back inside the centre square. That's come up short. It's the opportunity for a ruckman to hit the scoreboard there, get down there and make sure that contest is there.
Full analysis at half-time with the best in the business here at Fox Footy. As Dawson leaves D50. Punched away from Zerha. Foul, two-man tackle, including 2-metre Peter, and a ball up.
Clear the area through you guys.
So there's the incident that saw Ridley come to the bench.
Up against the boundary line, Davies Uniacke inboard Parker. Off a standing start, snap towards the wing. Mackay got a fingertip to it, tried to drag it down to Dersma on hands and knees, scrap for it. Darling at the bottom of the pack and a ball up.
I had the call about 2 minutes ago, Matty, about how valuable a goal would be right now for both sides. This is arm wrestle that you must make the most of your opportunity. If you can get it outside this contest here and get it into free space, it's worth its weight in gold.
Tackle Essendon. Yep. Stand, play on. Me.
Still just one goal for the turn, the way of the Kangaroos. Essendon slide forward. Hobbs has been busy. Takes a confident one-hander up his 10th disposal, drops into the pocket. Kako! Elevates nicely. But it's paid against for a block.
Time back on. Stand. Play on. 15, play on.
So play on, Daniel Hardeman. Sprinting. Kick outside 50 over the head of Stevens. And Zerha met by Mackay. Coughed up the football, Dersma. Centre field. Durham, Perkins.
Just not quick enough, just not sharp enough. Zerha, I mean, he can slide that handball through. The Kangaroos are off and gone, and it's a walking goal at the other end, but the tackle stuck. Terrific tackle. He saw, he saw the problem there, Ben Mackay, and that's as good as we've seen him. Reacting quick. Well done, Ben.
Well, we've had a real drought of goals in the last 15 minutes or so. Such an important kick, this one. He's already kicked two, Archie Perkins, right on 50. It's a beautiful looking kick. Did Charlie touch it on the line? No. Goal umpire says it's a 6-pointer. Perkins kicks 3, and that goal at the most important time.
He's had a lot of negative feedback, Ben Mackay, at the start of this season. It's great to see the big man take the punt to come off his man. You can see him in the background there. No, I've got to go, because if Zerha slips that ball through, you can see the Kangaroo numbers swarming out the back. Turnover, corridor, Bombers goal.
Brad Johnson on the boundary.
John Menzies has just made his way onto the ground. He was the sub for the Bombers. Jordan Ridley has gone down the race. He has been subbed out. John Ralph will have all the information at half-time.
Perkins with his third. Eight disposals and 3 goals for Archie.
It was a big goal you were talking about, boys. 3 out to 4. Kangaroos were searching so hard for that goal, but the Bomber defence has just been terrific tonight.
Sherry again just shoving into Goldstein's frame. Simpkin tries to streak through. Davies Uniacke can't get away from the tackle of Barton. The Bombers will go forward again through the impressive Durham. Back to Kako. Little chipping ball outside of the foot was pretty. Not quite taken by Wright and Langford's. Pushed into the ground.
Hands off, Charlie.
Great spoil there by Condon. Looked like Caddy was going to take an easy mark there.
Some tricky things with ball in hand, Kako. Durham just bursts through, gives it to Jones. Centre field, stands up in the tackle. Powell never gave it up. Did well in the contest. Merritt, Langford, centering ball is absolutely magnificent. If he saw Gresham and hit him, it was brilliant in traffic.
They're just dominating at the moment, Essendon, around this sort of forward half of the ground. Love this. It's the modern day footballer, both sides of the body, chip it around, but the vision as well to see Jay Gresham on his own there.
Gresham for 2 in a row for the Bombers from directly in front. They started off kicking so well. Their first 5 went through set shots, and since then they've struggled to touch.
Can confirm a hammy for Jordan Ridley as well.
Margin over 25 points. It could be so much more if Essendon had kicked straighter and made the most of their opportunity. So North Melbourne still in this.
So Sheasel dumped after he kicked it, downfield free kick in the closing stages of this first half. Parker, penetrating ball. No mark taken that time. It was Redmond giving ground to Roberts. It'll be in the hands of Dursbach when the siren sounds for half-time. We'll have full analysis shortly on Fox Footy. Coming in, it was 12th versus 17th with Essendon with the ascendancy on the ladder. They were in front by 22 at quarter-time, and Howie at half-time, it is now 25.
Multiple goal kicker Archie Perkins has kicked 3. An arm wrestle for about half of that term. Essendon just seemed to get on top again late, Jack.
Yeah, well, small inside 50s. Essendon only 22, North Melbourne 16. So the game's been played in the middle part of the arcs. You think it'll break open in this second half.
Brad Johnson, Eddie Betts.
Yeah, you're spot on, Howie and Jack, in regards to the way North Melbourne were able to build more pressure in that second quarter, and they didn't get scored from corridor. So I think that was a win for North Melbourne with the way Essendon started this game in the first quarter, Ed, and what they were able to produce through corridor ball.
Yeah, they did, but Essendon started the first quarter on fire. Their pressure was unbelievable. Then North in the second quarter picked that pressure up, and they looked like the game was changing around a little bit. But then Essendon came again on top. Their pressure rating was high in that quarter, and that just showed that's why they're in front.
Yeah, Kingy's assessment of the way North Melbourne, the way Bombers are set up behind the ball was absolutely spot on in that first half. Hence why North Melbourne sit on 22 points for the game so far.
Brad and Eddie. Sarah Jones.
Very much Howie, team Jason Dunsell, David King and Joey Montagna. What do you like from the opening half here at Marvel Stadium? The Bombers have been so organised and so slick with their ball movement, and particularly in that opening term, Jason, accuracy was through the roof.
They look to be in charge, the Bombers, 25 points. But the funny thing is, if you look at North Melbourne, 3 goals for, the 4 points they missed, 3 regulation set shots and a regulation snap Zane Duursma missed from directly in front. They could be a lot closer. Now, I know Gresham missed an easy one for Essendon late in that second quarter, but they could probably be a little bit closer. You just wonder if they've got the composure and the skill execution to get it done when they get their opportunities. And you kind of think that at some stage, Essendon will really click into top gear and maybe open up a bit of a break.
Yeah, we spoke pre-game. The Bombers' game is that contested ball, the ground ball stuff where they outnumber, and they've been able to do that. I think they're plus 10 or 11 in that phase of the game. But the difference is against North Melbourne, they've been able to use that ball on the outside because of North Melbourne's inability really to defend, that they've been able to capitalise, and they've been able to hit the scoreboard off the back of it with their quality and use that we know this Bombers side has.
Kingy, the Bombers have loved the corridor tonight.
Yeah, they have. They've had 8 inside 50s through the corridor for 4 goals for. And it bemuses me how an Alistair Clarkson coach team cannot clamp the corridor ball use from the opposition. It's been a thorn in his side all season from a structural side of the game, but the Bombers have seen it. They've seen an opening, they've seen a vulnerability, and they've gone after it, and they've made them pay, Jason. Yeah, I struggle to come to grips with their setup sometimes behind the footy, Kingy. At times they do it well, then I think they get caught in between zone and man on man, and they're not quite sure what position they're supposed to be in, and they get opened right up. So, you know, they're thereabouts at times, and then you think it's almost inept the way they're doing it. So I find them very confusing at times, but you're right. To cough up the corridor the way they have, that can't be part of the plan. Is it too technical for them at this stage, Joey? Is the system too difficult for them to deliver upon?
Possibly. Yeah, when you're young, you're still learning and trying to get the balance right. You need your leaders. There's also, too, just sometimes fundamentals. You miss a tackle, you fumble the ball, it spills out, and it looks, a lot worse than it is. So there's been a whole host of areas for North Melbourne that are costly defensively.
Joey, you've been in the lab and have isolated some play involving Nick Martin, who's been pretty busy, 13 disposals and a goal.
Yeah, Eddie and Jono spoke about it pre-game. It was obvious watching up here that Essendon had a plan. So Nick Martin was starting as a half forward, But then straight away at any stoppage, he would go and be basically the loose behind the ball, but he was there to be the offensive player behind the footy. And I'm calling him a bit of the lurker because he gets around the football and then he just lurks. He just sort of susses out what the game's doing and when he can get involved and then be a threat on offense. So out of his 13 disposals, 8 of them have been in the back half for essentially a guy that's playing as a forward because he's the player they want to join in on offense and utilise where they can. So this was just one example where he loitered, he waited, and at the right time he set up a goal. He's been involved off the back of stoppage, getting first use, and then even getting back in the defensive 50, Kingy, to being outnumber to provide a contest. So I love the use of Brad Scott using one of his more talented offensive weapons.
Is he releasing others or is he just lurking, as you say?
He's doing a bit of both because it depends what the North Melbourne opposition give him, but at the moment he's the one that's roaming through the corridor, tracking the football and being free most of the time.
Not surprisingly, our Harvey Norman highlights around the Bombers skipper Zach Merritt, who has 17 disposals at halftime. And Jace, right at the beginning of the game, this kick to set up Archie Perkins for the first goal, it was precision.
I find him a fun player to watch because when he gets the ball, something happens. That's one of the greatest compliments you can pay a player. He has time, he creates time for himself if he needs it, or if he hasn't got it, he'll find a way to buy time, and then he just picks the right option. And when he's deadly by foot. And he can just prop, stop, in traffic, pick the eyes out of it, and then go bang with a beautiful kick. And he just does it so well.
I can't believe he's not getting tagged. I'm not sure why. You wouldn't send one of the North Melbourne midfielders that, aren't at the standard and the quality of Zach Merritt, but could maybe nullify his influence to some extent. If you don't, he's going to be the best player on the ground, and it makes it awfully hard, and this is exactly what he's doing again.
Kingy, what's the gap in the game?
Oh, it's just efficiency on the outside. It's not whether you win the ball, it's can you hang on to the ball. And I just look at a couple of decisions that the Kangaroos senior core players have made. I mean, Jack Darling's in this team to help this situation. He's got 3 players in the North Melbourne jump that are right next to him, but he wants to surge kick the ball away. The Bombers say, well, we'll take that, and yet we'll link with those guys that are riding shotgun and get a high-quality entry going in. Same again here. Just too slow, too hard. I mean, this is AFL level. You don't have time to get ball, then make a decision. You've got to make them in conjunction. And I just think that they've been far quicker to arrive at those points the Bombers and the Kangaroos have.
And LDU, a few fumbles. I mean, you spoke about it in the call. Just a few crucial moments where he wasn't quite composed.
Yeah, and he's getting the most ball of all the Kangaroo players at 15 disposals. He's working hard, he's trying hard, but he's nowhere at the level with ball in hand. His handballs have been costly turnovers. I reckon there's been 3 direct goal assists from his handball errors. Things like this, just not quite delivering upon the toughness that's required at this level.
Yeah, he's been their best player that stood out in that, but we started listing throughout that quarter a lot of their other star players, Sheasel and McKercher, Durs were missing goal, but they don't help themselves, North Melbourne. These highly talented players with just basic fundamental errors that are costly. They're so costly this one game.
This one.
You're right, he's the one that should be much, much better at this. He's getting paid over $1 million a game, a season. That'd be nice. And he's got to be better, and Kingy highlighted during the week, and again today it's stood out.
We probably shouldn't criticise their defence when a good midfielder turns over a no-pressure hand pass like that. You're going to get caught out because everyone's running, trying to create.
All right, we're going to celebrate a moment of goodness for North and a highlight, Finn's first goal.
Ah, the Finn bar, how good. He nearly took a specky early on. He surged into a pack, he got his hands up, and then he takes this one and kicks it around the corner beautifully. It's so exciting to see a first gamer and a player kick their first goal in league footy. The players come from everywhere. It just generates such great enthusiasm. He looks a likely type. I love the way he attacks the footy.
So it is the Bombers by 25 points at halftime here at Marvel Stadium. After the break, John Ralph with all the latest news. There's a couple of injuries from the opening half. I'm sure he'll be all over. Plus, the Round 8 edition of the Blowtorch.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox.
Constipation.
All right, folks, there we go. It's half time. 88% Essendon, exactly. There we go. It's, I don't know, you talking to the poll? The poll we got on, 78% the Bombers, 22% saying North Melbourne. There we go, half time. Well, North Melbourne could only put on 1-1. Then again, the Bombers could only put on 1-4. Yeah, bit of a tight, scrappy game there. I think North Melbourne would be pretty happy. They haven't really had their game on their terms at the moment up until half time. Of course, they've been a little bit wobbly. The Bombers are a little bit wobbly, kicking in that second term. I still think, North Melbourne might make a little bit of a run at this. Only 25 points down. It's not much, is it? 25, what was it? 22. He extended it by 3 points, did the Bombers there in that second term. But we're still waiting for North Melbourne to kick back. Yeah, it's not like a Clarkson team that really defend well through the corridor, and exactly what they were saying there. I think he's having a bit of a hard time as well coaching this team, just trying to get their structures and everything right, their game plan. When they put it all together, North Melbourne, they actually do look reasonably okay. We'll have to find out in the second half if they can do that. And just have a look, put that live ladder on, and if Essendon continue on winning, you see they started off 12th, they will leapfrog Carlton. They'll go into 11th position. If Essendon continue this merry way, they'll go into 4 wins if they win. So that is what Essendon have to play for. We'll have a look at the goal scorers. I don't think there's much difference there up until quarter time. Archie Perkins, though, he extends his. He's out to 3 now, the only multiple goal scorer, and he's for Essendon. 3 goals to him. Nick Martin, of course, Cole Langford, Ben Hobbs, Nate Caddy, still the single goal scorers there for the Bombers. And for the Kangaroos, Jai Simpkin was the added goal scorer there. Cameron Zerha and Finn Bar Maley, the other single goal scorers. Disposal getters out on the ground. Zach Merritt, he's coming to the fore. As I said, he's having a pretty good season. Up to 17 now. Nice. 3 clearances. Just a 4 kicks, 13 handballs for him. Uganaki, though, tops the table for the Kangaroos. On to 15, Pal 14. Harry Sneasel up to 13, the star for North Melbourne. Where is their other star? Is he out? I haven't actually seen Wardle. I just want to have a go run down this and have a look and see if we can see him. Gresham there, up to 11 there for the Bombers. Luke Parker up to 12. He's starting to do a little bit better going into North Melbourne. There we go. We could keep on going down. Archie Perkins, the leading goal scorer, the 8 possessions on the ground. 7 kicks, 6 marks. So his mitts are grabbing it really, really well there for his 3 goals. Peter Wright for the Bombers hasn't put on a major yet, though. 5 disposals. He's just had the 4 kicks. 5 hitouts, just the one behind for him at the moment. Let's keep going down. Nick Larkey there, not doing a great deal. 4 touches, 2 kicks, 2 handballs. No score yet. And, of course, Jackson Archer subbed out there, I think, for North Melbourne, which looks like a hammy there. They were saying about that now, but that was the reports there. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at the team stats there. Essendon well ahead there, 52 plus while we're dominating North Melbourne. 16 kicks, 36 handballs. Essendon doing it really well. Look at the inside 50s, 22. Both teams a little bit under their season average. 22 for 12 scoring shots for the Bombers, not too bad. 7 scoring shots for 16 inside 50s for North Melbourne. The efficiency, not too bad, 78-75. That's pretty good on both sides. So is the efficiency inside 50. Free kicks, though, the umpires having an absolute field day out there, blowing their whistle. If you don't mind, umpire, 19-12. 31 free kicks already up to half time. Wowee, what are they doing? I think, I don't know what the umpires are doing, but they just love blowing the whistle today. Let the game run, I say. Let the game play. Stoppages, hit-outs, North Melbourne winning in that department by 9, doing well. As the clearances, actually. Oh, there you go. It's a little bit surprising. +3 and +1 in the centre clearances and 2 in the stoppage clearances, doing really well. Contested possessions, only 11 plus to the Bombers, but the Bombers love that chipping game, don't they? And, of course, uncontested, that's what we've been known Essendon to do. So they are at 45 or so up there in uncontested. Turnovers reasonably low in this game, so that's not too bad, especially the Bombers, 22. They're going really clean with the ball there. 29 for North Melbourne. Marks, of course, Essendon will be ahead there with their uncontested, just control of the ball. They're plus 14, but the marks inside 50. Tendall 4. Essendon finding a lot of space. The North Melbourne defence really need to tighten up in that department, letting Essendon already at 10, which is their season average. North Melbourne need a few more in their way. Let's have a little bit of the tackles. The tackle count is pretty even, 31-28. North Melbourne, the only one had tackle inside 50. 3 of. So they're doing well there. They just need to put pressure. They need to lift their intensity. They need to lift their pressure game, does North Melbourne, if they want to get back into this game. That is for sure. Let's just roll back down to the commentators while they're having a few comments.
For that this weekend.
So West Coast versus Melbourne, Clayton Oliver misses for a week with mental health. The club's really open about it. Jason, put yourself in Oscar Allen's mind. He's in a funk. He's playing in defence. There's crisis meetings. Can you see a way in which he just bounces out of this with really good form at some stage? We hope so. He's grinding at the moment. You've just got to put your head down. You've got to work hard on the training track, work hard in games and just hope that it turns. There's no magic quick fix. West Coast are going very, very poorly. Life's going to be hard for him. He's just got to keep battling it out.
Nice work, Ralphie.
Thank you very much.
All right, it is the Bombers by 25 points here at Marvel Stadium. And there's 2 superstars of Australian netball, Joe Weston and Hannah Mundy, both Bombers fans. And Hannah is the niece of former Bombers premiership star Gary O'Donnell. Both girls with a huge game this week when the Vixens take on crosstown rivals, the Melbourne Mavericks. A huge weekend of Suncorp Super Netball ahead.
All right, folks, while they're just gone to a break, we'll be back in just a minute or two.
He must have been pleased, especially in that first quarter, being able to get the ball back in the corridor, get some really good flow in the game.
Yeah, I think it's on the back of contest and pressure. I mean, you know, they're a good contest team. I mean, they've got some quality players in there. Sherry giving them a good look, and you know, Davies Uniacke, etc. in there. So you know, our pressures had to be good because North have been pretty good around the ball, but yeah, pretty efficient ball use.
Seems to have allowed your defence in particular to really set up well and obviously restrict what they're trying to do going forward to the ball.
Yeah, that's been a pleasing part of it. You know, I think both sides missed some opportunities. You know, North in the first quarter, us, you know, in that second quarter. So you know, the game's still there. So it's you know, it's like it always is. It's in the contest and around the ball, and you know, whoever gets the ascendancy there will give their forwards their best chance.
Big second half. Good luck.
Thanks, Sean.
Cheers. Thank you, mate.
Thanks to Brad. And Brad down there, it was Essendon by 22 at quarter time, 25 at half time. Looks like Jackson Archer has got an issue with that hamstring. So if he hasn't been subbed, he looks like he will be shortly. Here's Matt Hill on Thursday Night Football.
Second half about to get underway. Sherry and Goldstein. Floats in the air, Sherry down to Davies Uniacke, got a little kick away, met hard by Langford, fumbled it back to Davies Uniacke, beat one and then beat McGrath to the punch, wobbly kick inside 50, coming out to meet it. Pryor has a couple of roos to beat. It's going to be a free kick for a dangerous tackle. It's going to be given as they pick themselves up to Zerha.
That's better from LDU from the middle of the ground there. Just the ability. In the first half, he was looking to give that handball straight away. He tucked it under his arm and drove out. Still tackle while kicking it, but actually another 10 metres further forward. They get it inside 50. Zerha gets a dangerous tackle.
He's kicked one already. That took his tally to 12 for the year. He's played in every game this year so far. This would be a magnificent start if he could nab it. It's going to sit there right on the goal line. McKercher is taken by Roberts. And the ball up in the danger zone.
Here's this dangerous tackle here. It was spun and slung. Yeah, good call from the umpire.
Martin's having to give up ground. Rush it through. McGrath. To a contest, right. Comes from behind, brings it to ground. Menzie on the ground for Ridley, subbed out with a hamstring. Good forward ball. Merritt traps it. Waits for the runners to come. Now they arrive. Plays on. Goes all the way himself. The skipper just arriving is the other man that's been subbed on. Bailey Scott on for Archer, also on for the hamstring.
And Jade Gresham there on an easy lead up, but decided the goals were his option there. Zach Merritt.
Daniel taking a fair bit of time. Long ball outside D50 with strong hands from Finn Bailey.
He's looked good, hasn't he?
First gamer. Comben, Maley, combining. Trundles one towards the wing now. What can the Roos do here? Stevens has a couple to beat with a little bit of composure. His hands back to Maley. They work it around a little here. Hardiman. Stevens' kick. Good spoil at the back there by Pryor. Came back to Maley. And then his spearing ball towards Zerha. Touched by Zerha, which it had to do to go out.
So far, he's bowled the in-swinger, the outswinger, and the top spinner. Finbar.
I felt like trundle was the appropriate word there.
Look, he's got some work to do, no doubt, but it's good to see him attacking the ball in the air the way he is.
Kicked a goal in the opening term on debut, Finbar Maley. A big, strong contested mark. Got some good hands on him. Gresham, Hobbs had a big first half. Gresham touching the back. Sheasel picks himself up slowly.
Now that's a tackle. And that's what Tristan Sherry brings. The level of intensity that most don't have.
Goldstein puts a hand to it. Power. A wild kick forward from Riley Hardiman. Clears everything.
Just love to see Hardiman there. He's the player behind the stoppage in the role that we call the quarterback, is that he just needs to start running towards the middle of the ground, and the rest of the pack will come with him, and something will open up.
Reed's drop punt in the right direction. Out the back, Hardiman. Driven to the turf by Kako, and then he affects the tackle on McDonald. Combat inboard to Parker. To the edge of the square. Daniel McKercher. McKercher scampers along half-back, and then quick one to Zerha. Now Scott. Didn't get a possession for it, but it was a good spoil to cause it behind previously off the kick of Merritt early in this quarter.
Just seem content to play wide, the Kangaroos. The Bombers are happy for them to live out there.
Darling. Kick inside 50, Larky at the front. Zerha couldn't quite. McKercher, little bit of a fake, and then a centering ball. Sherry's there, couldn't quite complete the mark. Ball in dispute, off the ground. Clever work from Menzies. He fights for it. And did well in the end. Good little battle with Stevens out of play.
That's been their problem tonight, though, King, is that they just have not... They're going around, trying to go around this Essendon defence and just trapping themselves constantly wide. It only gives them one part of the ground to actually access and go into offence from.
Three-time premiership Tiger Jack Riewoldt alongside dual premiership Kangaroo David King. Pow, a floating ball. Zerha stands underneath it for a long period of time. Now tries to butter up at ground level. Langford tries to clear the area with a long hand pass. Gresham caught by Pow, gets it out. McDonald gets the arms up above the tackle, does well to change hands. Only as far as McGrath. Perkins, 3 goals in the first half. Now Hobbs sends it. They've got a man out the back. Daniel comes back, does well not to give front-on contact. In the end, it's Menzies. Well, I don't know if it's a shot or a pass, doesn't matter, because it lands in the hands of Caddy.
Well, it definitely wasn't a pass. It was fortunate it didn't make it too far.
Caddy plays on and hits the inside of the post. He's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, Jack.
There's no benefit of the doubt there, I think, Howie. Look, Nick Martin was the player that was on the whole way through there and not used. He just sniffs the turnover nearly better than anyone tonight, certainly, as well. From half-back, as soon as he sees space, he runs into it, creates numbers 4 to the ball.
So again, Daniel taking a fair bit of time to think about it. Then kicks to the hot spot, Cherry.
How can the Kangaroos holding the ball above the tackle has cost them 3 goals tonight? When stripped of that, you've just got to fire the ball out quicker.
Along the wings, Zerha gets a little bit of air time. Redmond sitting back, almost giggles in his face and takes the mark. Then goes across half-back through Menzies, McGrath and centre field, and then McGrath blazing through the middle. Hit the ball hard, grabbed it with one hand, tried to get it to Kako. Too hot for him and out.
It's a really good point, Kingy, though. As soon as you raise your arms in a contest, if you've got the ball, that is showing the umpire that you have had prior opportunity. So you have to get rid of it. So you're automatically forcing yourself into just fumbling that ball out or having to hit the perfect handball.
Dave Juniak with 18 disposals. Merritt, the equal leader, with the same number for Essendon.
Yours.
Good kick out of the pack from Will Phillips to centre wing. Here's a chance now for McKercher. Takes a confident bounce. Can take a second. McKercher from 35. 2 bounces low. Flat goal. That's something for the Kangaroos.
That's an area of the game they've been able to expose Essendon is when the ball does go long down the line. Is Essendon in those aerial contests haven't had a lot of coverage from behind here. This is just made up from imperfect football. And the ball hits the ground. You can see 0 coverage behind the ball here from Essendon. It turns into a foot race at McKercher. A couple of bounces. I think we were maybe hoping he might run a little bit closer to goal, but a lovely finish.
Yep, he would have fit in at Stall last week with a run like that. Keeps the minute.
I'm sure the handicapper would have looked after him, though, Matty.
Put him out of the main event.
20 points. Back into the Kangaroos. Next goal, massive.
Sherry wins it down. Davies Uniac tackled, got rid of it. Quick work, Powell. It's a wide ball. Darling in the race for it now.
Well, I always worry about the guys that lift their hands straight away instead of firing a fend. Well, he's got to get more aggressive to break the tackle himself rather than accept the tackle and try and perfectly feed the ball out.
Sherry trips over Goldstein. Durham just dumps the ball, wobbles towards the wing. Caddy, his handball intercepted. O'Sullivan fighting for it. Caddy trying to get it to Saracen out.
You see that intensity around the ball was lifted a little bit from North Melbourne here. They know it's only 20 points and how important this next goal is from them.
Real aggression there and defensive pressure from Finn O'Sullivan. Second pick of the 2024 draft for the Roos from Karoit.
High tackle, Essendon.
Going
High
against
tackle.
Phillips.
Come back on, stay out. Stay.
Sardis. Coming up for possession 9. Spots right in the little gap.
Stand.
No one's coming at him at the moment. Now Langford does. He takes a bit off the kick, just pulls it inside. Through Perkins. Dersma. O'Sullivan again. Davis Uniac throws it out the back. Simpkin. McKercher again. Here's a bit more runs. Sheasel. Back to Simpkin. They've got runners ahead of the footy. Constantian opens up in front of him. Needs a leading forward. Has to run a full measure. Now they come into the pocket. Larky, casual, and marks.
Outstanding from Luke Davies-Uniacke. We've talked about his handball game a lot tonight, but that over-the-head fling, almost a throw, but he lays a fist onto it, gets him out of jail.
This is where the Kangaroos really need the accuracy of Larky to come back to him. 4 shots last week for 1 goal. From tight in the pocket. So good within 30 metres. Nick Larky massages it forward and home. 2 in a row for the Kangaroos. And suddenly they're back to just a 14-point deficit.
So we talked a lot about what the Bombers want to do. They want to outnumber where the ball is. Win that contested ball in general play, 8v6, 7v5, but they are often prepared to run the risk of leaving an opposition player in space. It was Constanti on that occasion, all alone on the wing. They roll the dice and they roll snake eyes. You can see there, that's a pretty easy transition from that point forward because they had the uncontested player on the wing. They're asking a big question now of the Bombers.
This outside game actually is exactly what Nick Larky needs in terms of the battle that he's having with Mackay tonight. Well held in the aerial one-on-one contest, but get a bit of space, double leads, comes up with the ball nearly better than any player in the competition. More of that for Nick Larky and more of that from his goal kicking too.
He's kicked 1-1. Darling in the ruck. Just progressed it forward slightly and then Wright was grabbed by him.
Yes, he does. Get up.
Right. Davies Uniacke spinning centre field, taken by Powell. I'll go again. So the gauntlet throw down to the Bombers as Darling off a step kicks it in the Larky direction, but Mackay was there. More fast memories on Mackay. They have long memories, Jack. Spreads it wide to Reed. He's going to go inboard. Roberts. He'll go short as well. Sharpish. They'll just massage it around. Oh, puts Roberts under a bit of pressure. Pryor, Sardis have to think their way out of this one. High ball towards centre field and marks on his chest. It was play on though. He must have grounded it. So it's true centre wing and a stalemate.
Turns for Tristan Sherry on the bench.
25-point half-time lead is evaporating against the Bombers, back to 14.
So there it is again. That's lifting the ball above your head from LDU. You get clamped, you've already had your prior. He's done it 4 or 5 times tonight. It's just a complete waste. He's better off trying for the fence. He's got to be more violent in traffic to get himself out.
Centre field, rewarded with the free kick. Streaking through Durham. Right, lifts the hands up as well. McDonald, under pressure here, the Kangaroos in defence. They work it nicely. Driving ball through the middle. Larky gives his man a big shove.
Oh, they paid it.
Umpire's directly side onto it.
That's a good call. Good call from the umpire. Dead set push.
So Pryor's kick. Jones is the likely man there, 2 against 1. Short to McGrath. McGrath is going to go sideways. Oh, it's a dodgy looking kick. Gives North half a chance here. The punch was good from Finbar. Pryor driven into the ground by Larky and gets the free kick.
The intensity's lifted here from the Kangaroos.
Game on here at Marvel as Reid has the football in the back square.
Nick Larky really is pumped up. Kicked the goal, delivered the tackle, went against him. Kangaroos turnover again. Parker, the veteran, probably had a bit more of a step. Larky's been brought down. He'll get a free kick from the square.
There's a bit of retribution here from Pryor. Maybe felt like he got taken too high from Larky. He didn't like that last decision in the tackle and just absolutely floored him in the goal square. The ball was 40 metres away.
Finbar got involved as well on debut. Larky from only about 12 metres out. 2 in a row for Larky. 3 for the turn for the Kangaroos, and they are back within 8 points.
Well, it was a huge non-call from the umpire on the exit kick from D50. Stevens looked like he got into his back, looked like he chopped the arms to force that ball to come to ground, but the umpire didn't call it. And then it went back inside 50.
This was the first one where it sort of felt like he got harshly done by
this kick here. This is the one I'm talking about. This could have been paid a free kick the other way. Judge takes him high, not back of the head.
The umpire had his whistle in his mouth, and here's, you can see this. No eyes to the ball, cheap shot, and you give away a free kick right in front of goal. It's a guaranteed goal.
Well, that's 3 in a row to the Kangas. Really putting the question here to the Bombers.
Halfway through here, the third term, Kingy.
Last 2 centre-bounce clearances to the Kangas.
So crucial moments. One down towards Simpkin, who was being held. Advantage played, no advantage. So it's going to go back to Simpkin.
Come back on. Stand, thanks. Got 15, play on.
Simpkin, that kick, not 15. Called to play on Stevens and got it to heart of it. On his 7th game, he's done some good things. That little chip, barely the required, out to Stevens. So who's going to offer a lead here? He's going to go pocket. Larky over his head. Bailey's there. Sherry's there. Sherry tries to throw his boot at it. It's like a rugby scrum in there at the moment. Someone's got to get a boot. Eventually it was diffused by the Bombers. They are really asking a serious question at the moment.
25-point half-time mark the way the Bombers. McCurch in 2 for Larker. Larky brings it back to a 7-point margin. 3 goals to zip for the turn the way the Kangaroos. Redmond to try and relieve some of the pressure that Essendon are finding themselves under. Sherry brought to his knees. He has been mighty this evening, Tristan Sherry.
There was Menzie trying to block off the ball. Just another off-the-ball free kick. Not necessary.
Mine.
Coleman floats down. Finbar Maley's calling for it out the back. He's taken one strong contested mark. Here comes Finbar now, but it's Goldstein in amongst the pack. Take an uncontested mark in the end. Pryor.
Out to Dersma by hand to Merritt. Merritt. Oh, his kick inboard. They've cocked it up. So North really pressing here. Powell has the football. He's signalling the big sticks, which probably means he's going to perch it up in the square.
Like a big kick from here. Brilliant intercept in between 3 Bombers players here. You can just see the pressure starting to rise. Essendon, even their captain, starting to make unforced errors.
So Cowell's kick will be from 53, and he does chip it towards the top of the square, looking for a high flyer. No mark. Zerha front and centre. Handball was too hot for Dursma. Came out to Jones, who had a touch of the fumbles as well. Oh, he's under the pump as well. Got it to Goldstein, and then McGrath tries to diffuse the pressure, but it's marked again by Phillips, and North can reload here to combat at half forward. He's got a man wide. He elects to go pockets. Zerha couldn't quite rake it in, but he was able to grab it anyway. Tries to go himself, does the 360, goes back to Sheasel. It's a hot football at the moment to be won. Sardis will go off the ground here, and out of play it goes. And the umpire says insufficient intent.
Kangaroos continue to press. Stevens, they come towards him.
Well, the high bomb's not working. They've got to find a shallow entry target.
That's what he tries to do with a little piercing ball. Exactly what he's done. And Jai Simpkin, if he elects to, will have the opportunity.
Well, you can see the Bomber key defenders calling numbers back, and they're swelling at the top of the goal square. That space has been on the offing for the last 5 minutes.
A crafty little point there from Simpkin as well. Sort of faked the way that he was looking uninterested. Had his hand out pointing to the exact space where it was kicked.
He's kicked one in front of a little pocket of Kangaroo supporters. He'd love to turn and celebrate them. He could kick a second from a tough angle to make it 4 in a row for the Kangaroos. Simpkin, it's a good-looking effort. He does turn to that pocket. And the Kangaroos have knocked over 4 on the trot. And we have got, on Thursday Night Football, a 1-point game.
Smashing them at clearance, getting the ball in their forward half and trapping in there, building pressure and just finding a way. It's a stirring comeback from the Kangaroos. Huge week, put it all on the line, failed in the first half. Bombers played some beautiful football, but they just cannot move the ball now. The pressure's lifted, the intensity's lifted. Tackle pressure's there for the Kangaroos, and dominant at clearance.
16 inside 50s in the first half, Kingy, and they've had 14 in this quarter. It's been played in their half of the ground. And they've just got to start to think their way through that. That last bit of play there is being smart about the ball, and a little bit of a shush to the crowd there as well. I think there's lots of North Melbourne supporters sitting down there too, so I don't know who's fighting, but it's a loud atmosphere in here at the moment.
Bombers by a point.
Not sure who he's shushing. Win a game once a month, you want to go crazy when you're in this position if you're a Kangas fan.
If they start winding it up, Davey King, I'll know where that's come from.
Massive 5 minutes, 48 left. Davies Uniac scooped it out to Simpkin, barrels it back towards Zerha, comes to Phillips, another foray forward for the Roos. Parker grabbed by Merritts, holding the football. What a class footballer he is. And Merritts spreads it out wide towards centre field, and it was a beautifully weighted kick too.
It's always Merritt. It's always Zach Merritt.
Setterfields. And that's a wide ball and beats everybody in the end.
How have they turned around, Kingy? 4 goals to zip.
Yeah, just taking control of clearance. You know, 4 centre-bounce clearances in a row to the Kangaroos and just locked it in their forward half. Bombers have done well to get the ball to here. Can they capitalise?
25-point half-time margin the way the Bombers has all but gone back to 1 point. 4 goal to 0 term. McKercher, a couple of Larky, and Simpkin with his second. There's Merritt again. Kako trying to inject something. Durham sends it deep. Langford's in really good position. McDonald does well. Turn around, knocked him away. A free kick, spoil it away. Falls to centre field and really make an effort to pick it up. Now it stacks on the mill.
It's a great spoil on the last line of defence there from McDonald. Critical contest with Langford. Got a big spoil in to clear the space so the Crummers couldn't get out of it as well.
Sherry, Simpkin off the ground to Dursma. Off a step, just barrels it towards goal. Caddy off the ground, soccer goal through. He's got 2. He's got 2. And that's a steadier for the Bombers.
He just keeps turning up. Oh, I love his work rate, this young key forward, Jack. He just hunts the footy. If he can't be a marking player, he's happy to crumb. Just keeps arriving where the ball is.
Yeah, if you fly from the front, it's Dawson here as well. He flies and leaves Caddy at the ground level. It's nearly a cardinal sin if you're a back to come back with the flight and not impact the ball and have a soft drop. We saw that fantastic spoil from McDonald, which cleared the space only a matter of seconds beforehand. That one there drops exactly where it was going to land. Caddy doesn't fly, his man does, and an easy soccer goal.
North lead the inside 50s by 2, 30 to 28. Davis Uniacke's had 22. Merritt 21 for the Bombers. Archer and Ridley both subbed out with suspected hamstrings. Essendon by 22 at quarter time, 25 at half time, back to a 7-point margin in the shadows of the final break. Durham streaks through. Now blazes through the middle of Marble with a low, piercing ball. Fantastic take from Caddy. He was under pressure. Plays on, looks for a target, turns it straight over.
As well read by Fino Sullivan there. Going back, having an eye on his man, but also having a look at the lead lane. It was Harrison Jones who was targeted.
Outside 5. Play on.
So Sheasel.
Play on. Play on.
Stevens. Out in the Zerha direction and Pryor out the back. Simkin, who's lifted in the third quarter. Because there was a lot talked about Jai Simkin with his co-captaincy last year, not making the top 10 in the best and fairest. That might have been a bit of a burden for him. And he's been a real leader in this third term. Sherry goes himself. Goldstein not contesting the ruck there. Merritt swings around, needs an option. Dersma. Centre field, they've coughed it up. Parker. Sherry. Parker. Davies, Uniacke. They look ominous again. No one to kick it to further afield. Thinks about inboard.
Move it on. Play on.
So he's going to go pocket. Larkey in from the side, couldn't quite take the grab. Zerha like a battering ram bursts through and then tries to go something miraculous and got it through. It's the dribbling ball and all of a sudden it's back to 1 point and he's kicked 2, Cam Zerha.
That got quicker as it went, Jack.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, end over end, where you just needed it to gain speed and just hit the right end of the ball at the right time. Love this from Nick Larkey. Not his one-wood jumping into a big pack like that, but he creates a contest. And Zerha, the big bull, shrugs one. And Kingy, you're exactly right. It took off. As soon as he got it on the ground there, it was quick through the ground because it had to be, because there's a couple of goalkeepers there for Essendon.
Yeah, Lee Montagna put this guy under the microscope in the pre-match. Just need more. Need a big game from Cam Zerha. No Paul Curtis down there tonight. Need a 4-goal game really to get this team over the line. He's got to. Can he finish it off?
7 disposals, 2 goals straight for Zerha. And again, the Kangaroos get back within a point. Sherry, Davis Uniacke can't break his way through.
He's taken complete control, Tristan Sherry, of this ruck contest, and this is going to be a factor in the last 35 minutes of this game.
Again, he just got taken high.
There's manhandling Todd Goldstein.
All of them, and Peter Wright. He's got them exactly where he wants them.
Big, strong man who just lobs it inside 50. Simpkin at ground level. Comes back out at Davis Uniacke, takes on the tackle, can't break it.
So I'm more happy with that from Davis Uniacke, actually, not putting his hands up but just tucking it and embracing for contest. Like, be the battering ram that we know you are.
Sherry again, dangerous areas, hits it to space, away from Perkins. Darling steps back into trouble, hand passes to no one in particular. Merritt, he's almost a one-man band at the moment, keeps it in only as far as McDonald. Centre wing, back by hand, under pressure now the Kangaroos, got to be clean, Sheasel typically is. McDonald.
Daniel. Stevens, with 2 to beat, couldn't get past Jones, holding the ball. Gresham scampers away with it. Inboard Dersma, they're running hard. Perkins runs into a brick wall.
Just that's a great tackle, and that's so critical. Essendon out.
So, Sherry, the big man, palms it off. Sheasel's kick violently sideways. Scott can run onto it if he can just control it. Pressurised though, and then Reid came through to stop the rot. He trundles the football to half forward, met by Comben with some work to do. Sheasel, Comben, palms it off. Hardiman comes wider. Kick from McKercher to a 2-on-1. Bombers with the numbers. McGrath and Dersma could have raffled it. McGrath gets it to Sartis, and again, back from where it came from at half forward, and it's a good mark. McDonald has done some good things defensively tonight.
They're on in the middle if he looks.
Game really lifting in intensity now. He does look. Sheasel splits it to the outer side. Good build-up. Here's Stevens. Now on the power. Waits. Just blazes away. Disappointing effort in the end.
Yeah. Just composure now. Just composure. Who forward of centre can spot the obvious targets? He had 3 targets to hit there. 3 really good leads. Missed them all.
That kick only as far as Stevens. Plays on to Daniel. Coming through, Larkey hit it hard, has to work himself, dispossessed. Sartis went without it. Larkey tried to get it to LDU. Jones on hands and knees. McGrath, Redmond, they're out here. Perkins, Kako through the middle, has some space, has one bounce, takes on another, has a second bounce, gets to half forward, vacant goal square, it's rolling, and it misses everything.
Zach Merritt was on his own, 80 metres of space. Well, I don't think Isaac Kako saw him.
I hope he didn't.
it was a walk-in goal.
He just had to kick it within a 40-metre radius of him. He was unopposed.
I think his legs were moving too quickly to be able to pinpoint it. Kako, he was steaming through the middle. Merritt disappointed not to receive it. And that's not a good sign for Jones either.
Again, Peter, Tristan.
You heard, hold on, we need the stretcher, which is really, really bad news
Thank you.
for Harry Jones.
Peter, Tristan. Watch your front.
So this is going on.
No score. No score.
And nowhere near the play, so they've let play go on there, Howard. As you can see, the stretcher getting rushed on now.
Well, that's bizarre. I mean, if the stretcher's coming on the field, the game stops. That's an error.
It was unusual to see play restart after we heard stop. We need the stretcher. So we'll keep an eye on Jones. The wash up here, though, Essendon led by 25 points at half-time. The Kangaroos kicked 5 goals to 1 to bring it back to a 1-point margin. So three-quarter time here, 1-point lead to the Bombers. Footy keeps coming tomorrow night from 6:30 on Fox. St Kilda back at Marvel Stadium. Fremantle desperate for a win away from home. Essendon by a point here, three-quarter time.
Well, I'll tell you what, this game is well and truly on. 1 point the difference. The Bombers lead by 187-55. North Melbourne come back strong in that third term, 86-54. The Bombers only managing 1 goal 2. North Melbourne, however, 5 goals 2. They look sharp. I tell you what, they look like the team to beat coming into this final term. We will have to wait and see. Can the Bombers respond? 75% in the polls still say the Bombers. Only 25% say North Melbourne. I think I was one of those voters who tipped North Melbourne. Let's see whether we can get that right tonight. Oh my gosh. Essendon fan 23. Essendon by 45, he says too. They've got a big pile of work to do. They're going to win by 45. I'll tell you what, 1 point the margin going into the final term. It's anyone's game. This is a ring-a-ding-ding game, folks. A ring-a-ding-ding game. Tell you what, North Melbourne were coming, and they were coming hard. Both teams in that final minute, they had opportunities, hit their man up to get a shot on goal. North Melbourne didn't do that. That foot injury looked bad. It looked a little bit twisted, that ankle. It could be a dislocated ankle we'll have to wait and see what they say there, Addy G. But it didn't look good. They did look like they were trying to just move it back into place. But anyway, I don't know whether it was too sore. He didn't seem to be grimacing too much, but it didn't look good. It absolutely didn't look good. And can you imagine, like with probably 10 seconds to go in that third term, something like that happens. Not very good, not very pleasant for him, but we'll certainly see what they have to say when they come back. The commentators will probably give you a little bit more clue on what happened there with them. Whew, I'll tell you what, Kangaroos were good in that third term though. They were good. Archie Perkins still leads the way with 3 goals for the Bombers. Nate Caddy, toe poke one through. He's up to 2 now. Nick Martin, Cole Langford, Ben Hobbs, singles for the Bombers. Kangaroos looks a little bit more healthy on the scoreline. Cameron Zerhard with 2 and Jai Simkin. I tell you what, Zerhard kicked an absolute ripper of a goal from the boundary, put the snap on, dribbled it through, and the ball just seemed to pick up speed as it was dribbling along the ground. I tell you what, that will certainly be in the goal of the round for sure, that one. There we go. Who do we get down to? Zerkar Simkin, Nick Larkey is on the board for 2. McKercher for 1, Marley 1. They are your goal scorers. Leading disposal get around the ground. That Jones injury looks horrid. I tell you what, it didn't look good. It did look a little bit bent. Yeah, we'll find out more. I'd imagine when the commentators come back. I'll take us straight back down there when the commentators are back on, which is now. All right, there we go. Zach Merritt leading the way with 25. Tom Powell and Ukanaki next best 23 for the Kangaroos. There we go. I'll take you back down to the commentators now. I'll just roll down these stats and we'll let you hear the commentators and they'll run us in to the final bounce, whereas 1 point to the Bombers.
North trail by 22 at quarter time. Injuries unfortunately struck Archer with what looked like a significant hamstring, and then George Ridley in game 100 has had issues before also with a hamstring. Half time it was the Bombers leading by 25. Then the Kangaroos got rolling. McKercher, 2 bounces, a low darting goal, and a bit of spirit came from the Kangaroos then. Larkey kicked a couple in a row, then Skip Simpkin lining up for a second from a tight angle as the comeback was well and truly on. Let the crowd know about it. Leaves Essendon leading by just 1 point at 3/4 time. Brad Johnson is down on the boundary line. Sorry about showing that vision, Eddie, but it was too good. Your first miss in about 438 attempts.
I'm actually glad you showed that, Howie. I love the Simpkin goal, and I know you did as well. But Eddie, you love the Zerhard goal and the way he was able to get front and centre and then kick an absolute ripper.
Yeah, I did, man. Just his positioning here. You needed a bull, and you needed someone to do something spectacular. And just come here to get through this contest and just barge his way through. But what he did was he kicked the ball low, John, and it got quicker and quicker, and then it went through the goal. So it didn't allow someone to touch the ball.
It's going to be an awesome last quarter.
5 goals to 1 for the term for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, and they fought back importantly after Essendon put one on them, and you thought maybe Essendon were getting back into it. That last goal was critical to North Melbourne.
John Ralph with an update on the boundary.
Horrible scenes here with Harrison Jones just taken off on the medical cart. The entire Essendon medical fraternity trying to comfort him there. It's almost reminiscent of Matthew Richardson all those years ago at the SSCG when he pulled up short and did his ACL. So as you can see there, it feels like that left ankle buckles on him. They'll be really worried about a fractured ankle. We'll keep you up to date with the exact details of that post-match. But as I say, really sombre scenes here as the Essendon players looking on as he was finally taken off on the medicart.
Yeah, thanks to John Ralph. That was a tough replay to watch.
Yeah, awful, and good luck to that young man. This game right now is poised for Tristan Sherry to get the Kangaroos over the line. I'm not sure what the Bombers can do about stopping him at clearance. I mean, that third quarter, he was exceptional. 9 clearances to 4 in favour of the Kangaroos. They've won 7 of the last 9 centre-bounce clearances where he's just having his way with the opposing ruckman, grabbing the ball out of the ruck more often than not. He's had 8 clearances himself. He's only played the 80% game time. I just wonder if the big man can play the full last turn at full juice and get them over the line. He's the one problem for Brad Scott right now. So it was 22 points at quarter time, 25 at half time, and it's now Essendon by 1 point as we're about to kick off what's going to be a fascinating final quarter.
From an Essendon point of view, they look to Zach Merritt again, I reckon, in this last quarter. He's the one that's always there.
Big 30 minutes left on Fox Footy. Prime time Thursday night. And haven't the Roos responded? Going nowhere in the centre circles, and another stoppage.
Thanks, Bill. Hold the meter, please. Give us some room.
Centre field at the bottom of the pack. Goldstein won it down. Dersma for the Roos. Back to Parker. Parker swinging ball. Not marked by Roberts, off his chest. McGrath off a standing start. Just tried to get it out of there. Durham, Merritts. Just always finds time. Centre field. True centre wing.
Centre field coming up. His 13th disposal. Langford, strong hands.
Back 2 metres.
From McDonald.
End zone.
Now Martin. High entry inside 50. Caddy comes from the side. Sherry's down there working hard in defence. Kako quickly across again to Caddy. Now the Kangaroos chain it by hand. McKercher. Stevens. Zerha.
Got to slow down here, Zerha. No players ahead of the ball other than one of their key forwards, Nick Larkey.
Long one, mid 2. Yep, 2.
Long ball down the line. Larkey and Maley, no mark. Set up for Larkey. Got rid of it. Just. And then Reed affects the tackle. Ball it up.
Come on. Kristen, thanks. Play on.
Sherry catches it himself. And bundles it onto the boot. Larkey, a bit of luck in that, but they'll take it.
Yep. Good switch.
So Larkey looking for a lead or two. He's going to go to the pocket. He's got Zerha, who was loose and set himself over the top of Roberts.
Well, they've got to wise up that Sherry's going to grab the ball out of the ruck. He's done it all night, and he's done it all year. So don't get beaten by what you know. This is coming in the last term. He's been a colossus in the ruck tonight.
So Cam Zerha looking for his third. Around the body he goes. And misses. And the scores are level.
Just everything right in the lead up there, Cam Zerha. Looked like he was going to take the hanger, but judged the ball nicely. Just got to finish those.
Redmond to the near side, looking for right. Real task for McDonald to bring it to the ground, and he couldn't quite manage it. So right off half-back. Looks to the middle. And then pulls the kick. Sherry's in the right area, though. Palms it down only as far as Perkins. Men as he's besieged. Davies Uniac dropped the footy. Somehow got it out to Sheasel. Had to throw it on the boot in a hurry. Reed. Well done by the debutant Maley to bring it to ground. The Roos continue to press. Redmond gave it to a teammate that didn't really want it in Reed. He just stumbles it off the boot. Goldstein. Peter Wright turns back. All the way back, and it'll work out okay to Pryor.
So Martin has it. Has time for a couple of bounces and a gallop. Gets it to the 50-metre arc. Out to Dersma. Back to Martin. Low ball towards Langford. Off hands to Merritt. Merritt so clean usually towards Caddy. Good presentation. Takes it on his chest. He's going to play on quickly. No one's home. And in the rush of it all, misses.
What a lead. This guy just does not stop running, Caddy.
Spot on, Kingy. He was going to be the release when Peter Wright went backwards out of defence, and look where he ends up marking. His work rate was enormous.
Stand there. Stand.
I wonder if Alistair Clarkson's thinking of tagging Zach Merritt in the last 25 minutes of footy.
Well, it's Merritt one way and the big ruckman, Sherry the other, isn't it, at the moment? Two of the dominant players for their sides. McDonald in two minds. Not going to be easy. Parker was up against the man they called 2 metre Peter, which was never good. Pulls it into the pocket. Kako, little bit of space. Kako, little bit of quality. Fine finish. Essendon sneak away again.
Well, rinse and repeat for North Melbourne. If you're going to fly from the front of a contest, you have to impact the contest here. And it was Luke McDonald, Isaac Kako's direct opponent. He was the one that had the initial first kick, decided to kick it to the tall v small. Poor decision here. But if you are going to fly from the front of the contest and you are playing on a dangerous player like Isaac Kako, you must impact in the air. The ball drops straight down, and where every good small forward is, that is where their bread and butter is made. Isaac Kako kicks an extremely important goal.
The error is in the exit, the D50 kick from McDonald to sit it on top of Parker's head and allow 2-metre Peter to go to work. He had to be better than that. A leader of this football club just had to make a wiser choice. Good work from the Bombers.
Play on.
Sartis
Play on.
tried to manufacture something. Durham, Perkins, they've lost it. Phillips, Sheasel, now they turn it over, this time the Roos. Perkins with a sky ball, Wright couldn't complete the mark. O'Sullivan over the top. We're under pressure here at the moment. Stevens flicks it to Dawson. He's taken. Play on, said the umpire. Perkins has grabbed. Play on, said the umpire. Sherry Constanti. He skies one down the line. Whistle on the play. Free kick going to Reid.
Ball being called a couple of times by opposing supporters. Reid, nice ball to Wright, who's having a real impact in this term.
Sounds simple, but this game is going to come down to who uses the ball better in these last 15, 20 minutes.
How do you not in this contest? Comben. Essendon have won their last 11 against the Kangaroos.
Yes, it was 2016. Round 8, 2016, the last time the Roos got over the top of the Dons.
Brad Scott was coaching.
Play on.
Sherry, dumping ball. Roberts. Martin. Dursma. Peter Wright.
That's the gap in the game. The Bombers were able to take the ball successfully from inside the traffic to the outside to an uncontested player. That handball there from Martin, an absolute ripper. And you just becomes an easier game once you can play an open field like that.
Christian Sherry just lost Peter Wright there from that forward 50 ruck contest. Wright being the natural forward just snuck out the back.
Kicked 8 goals from 2 matches this season, hasn't got one on the board yet. Crucial time. And across the face.
From a Kangaroos point of view, this game's sort of sliding now. They need one of their leaders to step up and have a moment or two.
Outside 5.
Quick release by Caleb Daniel. Sheasel, 24th possession coming up.
Play on. Yeah, 2. Yep.
Driving ball to Zerha.
Play on offense.
Edged under it.
Switch, mate. Back out to your right. Thanks, up. Back to boundary, guys. Todd, Tristan.
Sherry arrives again. Tries to palm it down to the small man. Juniak threw it out of the contest. Powell's had his moments tonight. Big one-on-one. Gets out the back. Reid will be under pressure. Zerha threatening. Zerha's still in the frame. Simpkin toe pokes it forward. Zerha's got 2 to beat. The 2 went out momentarily but can't get it cleared. Good contest in 50 for the Roos.
Now this is alarm bells for Goldstein. He cannot be pushed from the ruck contest and allows Tristan Sherry to grab the ball.
He does exactly that. Dursma taken off it. Umpire says play on, and then he crosses himself.
Lucky there, Dursma, not to get a free kick. A little bit of feedback.
Goldstein narrowly. McGrath scampers round the pack, and then Martin's ball ricochets off the body of LDU and out.
They've got a bit more space here, North Melbourne, with the boundary throw as compared to the ball up. Love to see Tristan Sherry just grab it and handball it forward. Try and connect with someone on the fly.
Gets front position. Tapped away from him. Roberts, under immediate pressure, ripped off. Probably didn't have possession. And a go against Jacob Constanti.
All the pressure that comes with a forward 50 stoppage is just released with a free kick against.
Archie, you got to come behind. Yes, he is. Time on. Outside 5. Play on. You.
Roberts, right, leading there with Comben. Chance now for the Roos. Stevens took it a fair way, retreats back to Phillips. High ball in the Scott direction. Durham held his ground. Just a little tweak of the right leg as well as he went down. Got it to Roberts, and then he goes backwards to Dersma, so not convincing at the moment here, the Bombers at half-back.
Just tighten up a bit, not looking at corridor anymore, they're looking wide.
Dersma splits it forward.
Outside 5.
Peter Wright has been influential in the final term. To centre wing. Lindsay will stay down, caddies the fly. Dave Gignac provides the tackling.
All those little kicks across half-back from a North Melbourne point of view is opportunity to turn Essendon's little kicks over. That gives you a good shot on goal.
Goldstein.
Come on, Todd, Tristan.
Roberts. And centre field. Doesn't really get any purchase. Driving the ball forward. Sheasel comes back. With good courage, takes a strong mark. Immediately looks to the corridor. Does he pull the trigger? Wants to. No one really stands the mark, so he's forced to play down the line. Pretty quiet night for Darling. LGU hits it with pace. And passes stymied across the line.
He's out of tickets, Goldstein. He's physically spent.
John Ralph on the boundary.
Officially a left ankle for Harry Jones. Horrible scenes. That left ankle was pointing in a different direction to the leg. So fractured ankle normally puts you out for 12 to 16 weeks. Similar time frame for Errol Goulden and Ash Johnson this year.
Bad news.
So ball to be one out there. Sheasel. Long ball to half forward. Constanti in from the side. Couldn't complete it. Simpkin trying to dance his way around his opponents and couldn't quite. And now he's getting himself into a pickle here.
Archie, let go. Let go. Giant, stand the mark. Time back on. Archie, move out. Time on.
Xavier Dersma with the football at half-back.
Play on.
Takes on his man and got himself into trouble holding the ball. A great response from Simpkin in the end.
Is this the moment from the North Melbourne captain? We've asked for their leaders.
Short one to Powell. He plays on quickly, spots a man. Lucky!
What a moment from the captain. Huge tackle. He's drawn the criticism during the week. He's been seeking that opportunity, and this is huge here. The best converter in the competition from the paint.
Not the easiest of assignments. He's kicked 2. Does he stand up in a big moment? It's across the face. No mark, and it's probably not a bad result for North. It's out of bounds.
Interesting choice. I thought the snap was probably on for him there. Such a good drop punt. You can see his tackle. That was fantastic by Simpkin. Just never gave up on it.
Cherry on the bench.
Darling casts to the ruckman. Dersman puts his head down, tries to burst through the pack. So you think it'll be just one rest for the term for the ruckman?
Yeah, and a short one.
Goldstein having an opportunity. Down towards Hobbs, good first half. Spills out towards Dersma.
Free kick.
It's a free kick going the way of the Kangaroos. It could be Finlay.
I think he kicked it.
I just got word.
They've changed it.
North kicked that ball.
Yeah, boys. Who's got word? We can change it, can we?
So the kick's overturned.
Oh, wow.
Play on. Let's go. North pressing to a chorus of boos. And they pinch one anyway. The Kangaroos. Sardis with a high ball. Caleb Daniel, game 200, attacks it, as does Larkey. Goes back by hand. Stevens, Menzies will provide the pressure. Big moments in the game now. McDonald's got Sheasel as backup. Back to McDonald. Left foot, hopeful ball forward. Maley's in good position, edged underneath it, got two hands to it. Dersma flips it out. Davies Uniac with a bit of power. Sheasel can't quite pick it up. Slides the ball forward. Redmond will be under pressure. Takes on one tackle, gets away from it. Hurries it out of defence. And out on the full.
Well, if you're a Kangaroo here, you've got them. You've got them rattled. You've just got to find the obvious targets. There's the confusion at the top of the goal square. There's easy targets out there to hit. This could come lateral. No need for a high ball.
Daniel.
It's a good goal, Kingy. What worked from the third quarter was the kick just inside 50.
Kick to the pocket. Dersma at the front. Raked in by Redmond.
And that kick's not going to pay the bills. They've just got to find a simple way. There's obvious targets free. The Bombers are rolling back deep in defence.
35,439 for Thursday night football here tonight. And that kick had to be good, and Langford was very good in taking it.
Red alert if you're a North Melbourne player. You look for these short kicks. These are opportunities to turn the ball over.
Redmond happy to give up ground to give it to the skipper. 26 disposals, now 27 down the line. Good build-up, got it to the wing. Hobbs.
Yeah, you've got to tag the captain. You want to win this game, you've got to tag Zach Merritt right now.
He's hooked that straight out in the full. Who are you assigning the task to, Kingy?
There's a whole host of them. Scott could do it. Will Phillips is the obvious. But if he runs around unopposed, he'll organise the Bombers well enough behind the ball to ensure the 4 points are theirs.
Hardiman. Stevens has covered a lot of ground tonight. He's got Caleb Daniel out wide. Dersma tries to restrict the mark. Daniel wants the corridor. It's an aggressive kick. McKercher stands up. He's got Sheasel. Runs out of room in a hurry, though. Back to Stevens where it started. Tries to step through, lost it. Now Menzies turn over the Bombers. There's Merritt again. Finds centre field.
Centre field at centre field. And comes laterally Durham. So Durham with a short one. Roberts happy to take in a breather or two.
All the speed's gone from Essendon's game that we saw in that first half.
Kick wider in the right direction. Pinched by LDU. Hugs the boundary. Kept it in play. Ricochets out.
Just didn't think that handball received from Harry Sheasel was on there. McKercher on his left. No need to just call for the ball and not know what is ahead of you. Run yourself into trouble. This is where composure really kicks in. I'd love to see Sheasel come up on ball at this point too. Get your match winner in there.
Cherry on till the conclusion. Simpkin. Stymie kick back to Simpkin. Wants the corridor. It's aggressive. Could be turned over. Perkins, 3 goals in the first half. Setterfield outside of the foot. There's Merritt again. He's standing up. Is the skipper. Sheasel needs to be careful. Doesn't give away. Sends it down to Peter Wright. Good spoil from behind. Dawson does well and then gets one high. In fact, it's Comben who does really well.
Yeah, and Merritt again. I mean, he's just roaming through the corridor and continue to get the ball to him.
Hardiman to Daniel at a 50.
Well, that's what happens when you complain to the umpiring department. They say, okay, well, you better not do it yourselves. Got to go short before you go long.
200th game for Caleb Daniel to Simpkin. Simpkin's going to kick it long and strong towards the top of the square. No mark, raked in by Maley. Durham just blazes away with a long and strong kick in return. Through the middle it goes. Comben racing after it. Big ball to win. Merritt won it. Got it to Langford. And he got it to 50. He's trying to roll it through. It's bouncing. 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 No! Last line, McDonald.
Wowee.
35,000 on the edge. O'Sullivan, Sheasel does well. He was falling. Took a strong mark. Pinging end to end at the moment. Under 5 on the clock. Essendon by 9 points. Parker. Daniel. Opportunity. Dersma. Hits 45. Dersma! Massive finish by Zane. And we got a 3-point game. 4:35 on the clock.
Well, they've been crying out for that intermediate possession, and it was Luke Parker, and that's why you go and buy experience. Impact this game in the balance. Over to you, Luke. Just have a look what he does here. It's just sensible. It's just smart. It's a 20-metre target, dropping into little holes, and then you're over the top. You're through the press. You're through the grid. You get a good look. And what great conversion from the kid.
That's an unbelievable finish there by Dersma. Unbelievable finish from a young player to burst through 50. The build-up, David King, is sensational. It's what we've been asking for. And as this game and the players have started to get tired, you're going to get more and more opportunities in these last 5 or so minutes. So North just have to take them.
Tough night for the Dersmas watching on. The sun in each camp.
As, of course, their sister Yasmin played AFLW as well. What a talented family. So, a great game of footy in the end. Powell. North cough it up. Durham. Centre field to Dersma. 2-on-1. Roos had the numbers. Comben. He stood firm and out.
Well done, Charlie.
Big 4 minutes here for the Bombers with down on rotations. Gresham's gone as well now with a groin, so therefore they've lost 3 players. Down on rotations, a big grind in this last 4 minutes.
Thanks to Brad Johnson. Sherry has been enormous, as has Merritt.
End zone.
Durham straight out the full. So a chance for the Kangaroos to reset all the way back in defence.
Well, you've got to win the game. I think now's the time to roll the dice with Sheasel into the forward half, see if you can create.
O'Sullivan tasked with a large job. Goes for distance. Maley. We've seen him take a strong mark earlier on. This time gets a hand pass out. Here's a ball and a half to be won. Goes the way of the Bombers. High ball forward. Menzies comes back with a flight. Affects the spoil. Scott to be under pressure. Kako dangerous around goal. Again, Kako finds a bit of space. Perkins for a fourth. Not quite.
Too many North Melbourne players at the moment sitting back in their own D50. They have to win this game. They've got to get forward. Sheasel is the one. Get him into the midfield or get him forward.
It seems like 2 tired boxers waiting for one knockout blow.
Off the bench here as well.
Simpkin with the football, half back. Dawson on the ground. Combines with Scott. Dawson with a bit of dancing. Sheasel. Handball to Darling. Thinks about Sheasel, uses Sheasel. Kicking boards. Cut off by Merritt.
Right idea. And guess who bobs up? This guy is a freak. Zach Merritt.
32 disposals for the skipper. Under 3 on the clock. Essendon by 4 points. Kangaroos looking for just a second win of the season.
Bit early for this.
This is where you get a wrong mismatch too. Got lucky on Merritt now if it comes back inside.
Jester down the line. Big contested mark by Wright. Big grab.
He's been huge in this last term.
Looks to the middle. A gutsy kick at this stage. Hugs the line. Spills free. Kako free kick.
Holding.
Going back the way of McDonald.
Now you've got to be brave enough to lose the game this minute here. At some point you're going to have to pull a corridor kick.
So 2 minutes to go. McDonald in the Darling direction. Couldn't mark it. It falls out to Merritt. Right. Oh, dropping it centre field. Pressure football round the corner. Both teams tired. Chance for the Roos. Sherry, Scott, McKercher, standing start. Up they go. It's Bailey. It's Bailey.
Well, this is what he does. He contested marks. And maybe now he should grab his hammy and let someone else kick it, Howie. This worries me.
Did the ball play with McKercher? He's standing right behind him, the best kick of the class.
This is a massive moment for a man in his first game.
First game of football. Can you believe it? He's kicked one already tonight. But this is absolutely huge with 1:23 to play.
I'm loving how he wants this moment, though. He didn't even look to handball or off to anybody.
So the Moose, can he win it off his boot from 51 metres? Goes for goal, sits up in the square. Desperation stakes from the Bombers and pushes it through from behind.
I think he took his time and
It took the moment too long.
Time was up, so they rushed him.
Minute to go.
Essendon, they've got a man up here, the Kangaroos. Got to stop the short options.
This is good from the Bombers. Stay composed. Take any uncontested mark you can find.
Every player in one half of the ground, close to the line, and managed to pick a target in all that congestion.
That's a great kick by Mason Redmond. There's no risk in that. Only upside do you take the mark. Otherwise it goes out of bounds by time off the clock.
Just got to hit one more target if possible here, the Bombers. Here's the game for the Kangaroos. Big pack of players. Kangas must keep it in, they do. It's a high ball forward from O'Sullivan, long way from home, massive pack of players. Where are the smalls? LDU trying to get his hands on a desperately free kick. Whistle, Bombers. Could be enough.
Is that Merritt again here?
Yeah, he's just everywhere. He just bobs up when you need him to. This will be his 11th disposal in the last quarter when the game was screaming for him to be tagged.
Final 15 seconds of a thriller. Merritt's kick to the wing. Can someone grab a mark? Sherry at the back. High ball. Someone needs to take a mark. Centre field. Off his hands, and that is it. Essendon hold on. Their 4th victory of the year in a prime-time thriller.
See the Bombers fly up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this kind of game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, the other teams they don't fear. They'll try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
Well, on reflection, multiple goal scorers, Archie Perkins 3, Nate Caddy 2 for Essendon. But two fatigued football teams out there, Jack Rewalt, David King. A lot of blood spilt on a Thursday night. But what a gritty win in the end from the Bombers.
Yeah, it is a gritty win. And Zach Merritt is really the difference in the end between these two football clubs. Second half, 18 disposals. He was fantastic, but North Melbourne dominated this second half of this game. It really was a tale of two halves, and unfortunately for the North supporters and North players, they come out on the end of another one that potentially they should have won, even off the back of Port Adelaide last week. They were so close there as well. So, disappointing from a North point of view.
Brothers Dursma there. The Xavier Dursma coming out on the right end tonight. What a game, Howie, in the end. We weren't expecting it at half-time, were we?
Essendon 22 at quarter-time, 25 at half-time, Hilly. And then it was a 5-goal-to-1 term to bring it back to 1 point. Kako Dursma, the only goal scorers in the last term. 3-point win. Essendon go 4-3. North 1-7. They've had a tough week, North Melbourne. They couldn't get the win. They had a massive second half, but in the end, the 4 points don't go their way. Archie with a hamstring alongside Ridley with a similar issue.
Yeah, and I think the disappointing thing for North Melbourne, and you could look at it from a positive avenue as well, is they've had 30 inside 50s to 19 in that second half after only having, I think, 15 or 16 in the first half. So their ability to flip the switch and take opportunities in that second half was strong, but unfortunately they just gave Essendon too much of a start in what was a really disappointing first half, and they're probably lucky to be as close as they were at half-time.
Haven't won a first quarter this year either, have they?
No, they haven't won a first quarter, but a man that had a big input on today is down there with Brad Johnson.
He sure is, Jack. Peter, right, that was a big last quarter by yourself. You had a real impact in the game.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, we just wanted to, I guess, as tools, get to as many contests as we could. Felt like we were working hard ahead of the ball and trying to get on top, get some free-flowing footy, but we didn't really have much of that today, so it was about just getting to contests and trying to compete and play a tertiary game in that last quarter. But credit to North, they kept coming and we're lucky to hold on.
Spoke to your coach at halftime. He was talking about contests and pressure really set things up, but North challenged that in the third quarter.
Yeah, we were really happy to halftime with the way we were pressuring the ball. Probably getting some turnovers, getting it back going our way, but they really lifted that second half. We probably didn't respond to that as well as we would have liked, and probably a few moments that we would like back as a collective, not getting the small things done, but yeah, we come away with 4 points, but lots to work on.
How good's your skipper? Seriously, what he did in that last quarter as well was outstanding.
He is sensational. I think we're starting to get more recognition on the defensive side of his game. Sometimes you feel like it feels like he's standing still. He runs past you with such intensity. He's so good with his defensive work and win the ball inside for us. And I think you can't really tag him or keep him out of the game, because no matter what you do to him, he's so smart that he'll find a way to manipulate that and get on our terms.
And you really have to grind in that last quarter in particular, but you're down in rotations, a couple of players obviously with injuries, one serious one as well. You must be proud of the group to really dig in.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're both off some short breaks, but we didn't want to use that as any excuse or anything. I think a couple of boys down is really disappointing for us as a group. But to, I guess, run out and hold on, we felt like, I'm sure we did a lot right, but still, as I said, a lot to work on, but we'll take the 4 points.
Absolutely, Peter. Well done, mate. Great game by yourself. Great game by the club.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
See ya.
Thanks to Peter Wright and Brad Johnson. So it was Ridley with a hamstring and a very, very serious ankle injury for Harrison Jones, who was stretched off of the two injuries they're talking about. North Melbourne, no rest for them. They have to take on the reigning premiers next week. Essendon take on Sydney at home. 25-point deficit is what the Kangaroos were trying to come back from. They got it back to a 1-point margin as Caleb Daniel, the premiership dog. Now Roo is carried off in game number 200. Zach Merritt tonight, 35 disposals, Jack, 17 kicks, 18 handballs, kicking at 100% efficiency, 7 inside 50s. Eddie Betts, this man was unbelievable tonight for the Bombers. Just get Eddie wide up down there. He's got Zach beside him. Come in, Eddie.
We're just down here with this skip, Zach. How was that, mate? It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I think mixed emotions. I think really pleased to get the 4 points. Losing 3 guys to injury never helps, but a little bit disappointing the way we probably didn't show up consistently tonight. I thought that first quarter was the way we want to play more consistently. Obviously, teams are going to try and adjust and work through games, but I thought we went away from the way we wanted to play a little bit the last 3 quarters. So a little bit disappointing, but also a lot of positives to take away from that in the 4 points, which is always what you want.
What was the message at three-quarter time? Obviously, North did come back. They fought hard, and you guys were up just by 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we're off a 6-day break, but they were off a 5-day break and travel. So trying to make sure we kept running and kept powering. And I thought we provided some opportunities early on that last quarter and somehow mucked them up. But we knew they were going to come. They got some super talent across the field and a few more players that have got experience. So for us to get the win, we'll take it. Long break now before Sydney next week. So it was nice to get back in front of our fans and get a win.
And yourself, mate, there was moments in games where you had to just take it by, and you just led from example.
Yeah, I mean, trying to have impact in games. I think numbers have never been probably more inflated and almost irrelevant, to be honest, at the moment. So trying to have impact on the game and lead the boys in a way that inspires them to play a certain way. And as I said, I think there's a lot of positives and some young boys stepping up more consistently, but we're going to keep getting clear on what we need to do.
Well, enjoy this win. It was pretty loud down on the bench, and well done and good luck for next week, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks to Eddie Betts and Zach Merritt. Impact on the game. Well, he had a massive impact on the game. Sarah Jones, the Bombers by 3 points. I'm sure you're smiling.
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Mark Howard. We're going to break down this win by the Bombers tonight and also have a look at what went wrong for North Melbourne. Jason Dunsell, David King and Joey Montagna That man that Eddie Betts just spoke to, we're going to delve into his highlights a bit later, but gosh, Zach Merritt is in career best form.
Oh, he's the reason they won. He refused to let them lose. He was everywhere he needed to be at the critical times late in that fourth term. There was a clearance to be won, a ground ball to be won. He got front position in front of LDU, earned the free kick. He was everywhere he needed to be when they needed him to be there, and he didn't let them down.
Yeah, and that's been the evolution of Zach Merritt. He's gone from a midfield jet to an inspirational leader in the last couple of years. The way that he impacts, as he spoke about, with his defensive efforts, being in the right place at the right time, leading the group. I mean, if it wasn't for him in that last quarter, they'd probably get rolled, to be fair, the way North were coming. But they find a way, Essendon, and that's all that mattered. Really, it wasn't pretty. They were down a few on the bench, but they just gritted their teeth and held on, and now they can get their season going.
I think Robertson and Redmond were terrific down back late too, when the ball was just getting bombed in time and time again. Particularly Mason Redmond prepared to stand under a ball, Jace, and take a bit of punishment for the sake of the team.
All right, we're going to head into the rooms for the song. Of course, missing a couple of guys through injury, but the players will enjoy this one after their 3-point win.
The Bombers fire up to win the premiership flag. Woo! Our boys who play this straddle game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fire up the other teams that don't fear. They will try their best, but they can't get in as the Bombers fire. Woo!
So the Bombers bouncing back from their Anzac Day loss with the winners. We have a look at some of the big moments from quarter four. Jace, the pressure rating for both sides was over 200. The intensity lifted in the final term.
It was, but to their credit, North, they kept coming. We kind of wondered during the game, did they have the composure to get it done? Well, when there were some critical moments, they were able to kick the goals they needed. Thought Kako started to look really dangerous there. There's a missed opportunity there. You just, everywhere you look, you knew there were going to be scoring opportunities. This kick just misses the mark. Who's there to intercept it? Zach Merritt. These are the things that he does. He's just critical at the right time. Loved everything that he did. This is another one. There's a fantastic mark over the top from the young man, Finbar Maley, and then runs out of time, Joey. He just loses the clock.
Yeah, first AFL game, he probably wasn't even conscious of it. He was just going through his routine. He was trying to get his breath back, and in the end got called to play on, and Essendon just found a way to hold on. North was surging. I mean, they do still lack a bit of maturity with their composure and what they try and do, but Essendon just did enough.
We're going to head down into the Bombers rooms now, where young gun Nate Caddy is standing by after the great winner. Nate, congratulations. That got pretty tense there in the last quarter, down a couple of men on the bench as well. And we've just been marvelling at the effort of your skipper. How inspirational is it to play alongside Zach Merritt?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He knows what he's doing, and just continuously, week after week, just shows up and really competes hard. So I love playing with him, and hopefully for a long time more.
Hey, Nate, congratulations. A great way to get over the line. Another great contribution from yourself, backing up last week. It looks like you're forming a really good combination with Peter Wright. How do you find playing with him, and you're starting to learn a little bit more about each other?
Yeah, of course. We haven't played too much footy together, to be honest, me and Pete. So, it's really good playing with him. He's such a strong key forward and competes really hard. And we've just got to work on a bit of synergy, which will come. And probably on my behalf, I sprayed a few trying to kick it to him today. But we'll work that out, and we've got a long time to do that, so we'll be right.
Congratulations, Nate. You had the game in control at half-time. Probably should have been further in front, but then North Melbourne really hit back hard in that third quarter and started to dominate in the midfield. What was the message, can you remember, at three-quarter time from Brad Scott? Obviously, you had the Harry Jones incident at the same time. What was the message and the instructions for the group?
To be honest, I was pretty flat with seeing how Harry go down. He's one of my best mates, so I hope he's really good, but didn't look too didn't look good. But he just said just keep competing, keep doing what we're doing, and then just refining a few things that we were lacking on. So we played to our structure and stuff, but just a few things we had to clean up.
Nate, what do you like at assessing a game of football the minute it finishes? I mean, do you know how you went yourself personally? Do you have markers in place that you have to hit at half-time, three-quarter time and full-time? What do you like? And if so, give us a review of your game tonight.
To be honest, I never really know. I'm not the smartest bloke, so I don't know if I'm going well or good, or if I'm going bad. I try not to think about it and just keep competing and throw my body at as many contests as possible. But I don't think I went too bad. I definitely had a lot more opportunities to put on the scoreboard, but hopefully that'll come and start to stack them up.
Don't sell yourself short, mate. Don't ever do that. Hey, tell us, look, a couple of weeks ago you beat West Coast by a couple of points. Now you beat North by 3 points in the end. What's the mindset come the last couple of minutes? What do the players do? What's the, you flick the switch and you go into that must-defend mode?
We've got a structure in place that really helps that, and it's obviously I wasn't on the field at the time, but it's just I don't know. I can't really explain it, but just win or contain, and don't let them get through, and try and keep them from scoring. I'm pretty straightforward, but that's pretty much it.
Nate, how's your body holding up as a young player, kind of making your way in your AFL career? And we've had to deal with some short breaks along the journey, as all clubs do. How are you holding up and learning each week how to manage being an AFL footballer?
Yeah, I was struggling a bit early in the year. I had a few problems I had to play through, and I kind of learnt how I have to prepare for games, and I'm trying to be elite in that category, and I'm nowhere near that yet, but I'm definitely trying and learning each week, and learning off guys like Kyle Langford and Andy McGrath, who spend a lot of time in their stuff during the week, and make sure that I'm feeling good coming into games.
Nate, we're absolutely loving watching you out there. Thanks for your time. You did an awesome job in this interview. We look forward to chatting to you heaps in the future on Fox Footy.
I'll get better at it. So
well done.
Don't you worry at all.
I love it.
Gotta love that. A
I
self-depreciating youngster.
can't believe he said I'm not that smart.
No, look, he's a beauty though. I tell you what,
isn't
he works as hard as anyone out there to just present Jason. You'd love watching him as a centre half forward, full forward style player.
Ended up with another 15 odd possessions, 2 goals, 3 against. He's creating shots at goal. He's getting himself involved in scoring, and it's going to click at some stage. The more games he gets under his belt, he's going to start kicking his 4s and 5s and really start to impact games.
Yeah, he's got the work rate, so just needs to get that accuracy. He mentioned Peter Wright and the synergy he's got with him. He was really dominant in the air late, Joey. I think 6 marks and 2 contested in the last quarter alone.
Yeah, he stood tall, didn't he, in this fourth quarter in particular. He took the 6 marks, a couple of them contested. Had the 8 disposals, as they say, in the fourth quarters. The big men don't get any smaller, and he was needed. There's some contest down the line. He just stood his ground, and he was able to steady the ship for the Bombers. And, this is worth their weight in gold, having him back into the side. Alongside Caddy, we mentioned pre-game, and he was huge late.
And he was in the ruck for a little bit of this, Joey, too. And no one had really been able to challenge Tristan Sherry all night, Chase. It was good to see the big man getting involved.
But how important is that tackle? I mean, if he doesn't do that, Darling kicks the goal, puts North in front. But he's there right on the line to quickly assess the situation and knock the ball through for the behind.
Let's head down to the rooms where John Ralph has the latest on a night of carnage on the injury front, particularly Harry Jones. That just looked absolutely horrific.
Oh, it was so ghoulish. If you haven't seen that replay, certainly don't look at it now, and we won't show you tonight. There is potentially some good news, and I say potentially. I've just spoken to the Essendon football boss and Dan McPherson. So the ankle was badly dislocated. You could see there that it was basically at right angles there, and so don't look close. But unfortunately for him, the worst case scenario would be a fractured ankle, and yet the best case is that it gets back into its socket and he potentially misses multiple weeks. So the scans will tell the tale about the secondary damage there. So it's the third Essendon tool to be lost in 11 days. We know Sam Draper with his Achilles and Jordan Ridley. So it looks like he's out, you'd imagine, for a month or so. A second recurrence of the hamstring injury that he suffered in January. This is this incident there. Now, again, a hard tackle. He went down. He knew very quickly that was a hamstring concern. Jake Gresham only played 4 minutes in the last quarter, and so that's a growing concern. You'd think would see him missing next week against Sydney. The only positives there are that Jai Caldwell is ready to return from a hamstring strain. He's been out for a month. And Darcy Parish, off that back injury across summer and also a couple of calf complaints, he's ready to go next week. He says he's not sure at which level. You'd think it would be VFL, but again, at least Darcy Parish, the All-Australian, is ready to go. Jackson Archer, that hamstring, you'd imagine would be a higher grade issue. Grabs it at right. You can see him there. He knows he's in strife after that 3-match suspension earlier on with Luke Cleary. He's just had a horror year. And so, again, they'll have scans, and we'll hope that that's not a tendon-related or a high-grade hamstring that would keep him out for 6 or 8 weeks. So George Wardlaw with that corky will be ready to go. And tomorrow the VFL team takes on Essendon at Windy Hill at 2:05. And so those 2 key backs who were dropped in Core and Logue, they will both play. So they've only got a handful of players on their injury list, and we'll be very keen to get George Wardlaw back next week.
Thank you very much, Ralphie. That really was a horrible night on the injury front. Joey, you don't get too many worse nights than that in a game. Serious injuries and a raft of injuries.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? It always seems to be the guys that just get unlucky with injuries. Like, the Harry Jones incident, that could happen to any player, and we wish him well. But that just makes the win even more meritorious that they had 3 down late in that fourth quarter, and they were able to still find a way to get the win. So a good effort, but a blow particularly for Ridley, who just can't get a good run at it.
He's got to be a concern, Ridley, now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's a lot of absence over the last 3 years.
A lot of soft tissue injuries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to focus on the Bombers skipper because, as we said earlier, he was sensational. Jace, is he in the conversation for All-Australian skipper this year?
Oh, he's going to be in any conversation you want to have. But I run out of superlatives for it because the more you see him, the more you understand. Joey made a really good point before. He has evolved. He's always been a top-grade midfielder, but he's now right at the top of the class, and he leads by example. He's such an inspiration to this team. Whenever they need him, he finds a way to get it done. And we spoke earlier about how good his decision-making is, his disposal. He brings the players around him into the game. Look, to have that magnet put on the board every week is a pretty powerful one.
It stood out, didn't it, hit the game when everyone else was lacking a bit of composure or making mistakes. Whenever he touched the ball, something good came of it, and he made the right decisions and helped his team. And it's another sensational performance. And I mean, he's in line for another All-Australian. I'm not sure how many he's already got, Sarah. It's about 4, I think, or 4 All-Australians. He's got 5 BNFs. He's on track for another double.
You can see this coming, though. This is what I don't understand about the North Melbourne coaches box. This was happening from 5 minutes into the last term, and you allow this to happen. You allow him to dictate his positioning unopposed. I can't understand nor fathom why they didn't go with the tag at some point in the last term. He's done it again, 35 disposals. He only played a tick over 80% ground time, the lowest of any of the mids out there tonight. I don't know how he does what he does.
It's a great point. We spoke about it at halftime. They chose not to tag him to start the game. That's okay. You can have that. But then at times when they're influencing the way they are, you need to send a cooler and have somebody that can just slow down his influence. And they weren't able to do that. And in the end, as we said, he was probably the difference in the game.
I spoke to him the night that he won his latest best and fairest, which it feels like that's an annual thing for Zach Merritt. And
stalked him or spoke to him, did you say, Sarah?
I spoke to him.
Sorry.
And he's a new father now, and he was telling the story about talking to Toby Green at the All-Australian. And Toby, we know, became a dad last year and didn't have the best season, and admitted he found that life balance, becoming a new father, really difficult to play his best football. Well, Zach's got a new baby, and he is playing the best football we've ever seen him. So good on him getting that balance down pat. We're going to have a look at our KFC FLG moment of the match. And
what else?
The
big man.
Finbar.
Yes, big man.
He can mark.
Yeah,
He's a good contested mark.
And this was a great conversion, gave a lot of energy to the troops. At a time when they needed it, they were 3 goals down at that stage. So it just looked like the game was already slipping in the first 10 minutes of the first term.
He could have bookended this game. He kicked that goal early, and then he had the chance to be the match winner late. And things, fairy tales that you dream about. And
so what do you do? If you're him, obviously you've taken a mark 35, 38 metres from goal, Jay. Do you have the wherewithal to say, this is really not my go? Do you fake injury, Jason, your first game?
King. It's his first game, chance to be the hero. Look, I think his kicking, his drop punt set shots probably needs a little bit of polish, and he's got some work to do there. But he can find the ball. The way that he took that mark to create the opportunity to win the game, just reached over with one hand and tapped it back to himself. He looks good in a pack, so they might have found one hand.
Joey, how disheartening is this for North Melbourne, just given they've had some almost?
Yeah, it's flattening, absolutely. They want to win. They're getting sick of the close losses, and they had their opportunities. I thought it was a stark difference in how they rolled out in that third quarter. You know, there was much more intent from their mids to drive out of contest and be stronger with the footy in hand and get after Essendon. And they gave themselves a chance. And still, though, as I said earlier, they just lack a bit of composure and some maturity with some decision-making and fundamentals in the game that can only come through time and playing together and playing more games. But everyone's starting to get impatient. It was a better performance, but at the end of the day, they wanted the win.
Just got to be so careful to stop thinking and talking like losers and accepting some of these losses, because it can creep in, Jason, can't it? And
I agree. It's you get sick of hearing we put in a really good effort and we were super competitive. At some stage, you have to find that missing component that helps you take that next step and turn the good efforts into wins, because that's the only place you get your nourishment, your belief in what you're doing, the path that you're on game style-wise and where the team's heading. You need to reward yourself with wins at some stage. They've had a couple of really good opportunities, haven't been able to do it, so it's going to hurt, but you're right, they've got to convert them into wins.
And I'd sit Harry Sheasel and Luke Davies-Uniacke and Powell down, and I'd say, let's just watch Zach Merritt's last quarter. This is what you need when the game's in the balance. I think you need learning tools, so even for the top liners to impact the game when it needed it.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, and I mean, it's a tough one because they were trying hard. You could see it. They had the right thought process. They just probably didn't have the execution and the experience and the system to be able to finish that one off. And it's another one that's gone, you know, that's slipped by, and then they'll be getting disappointed. And I think they'll wins around the corner. I thought the effort was there, more learning. They'll start to turn these into wins.
Yeah, well, North fans will certainly hope so, because it's understandable if they're completely sick of that good effort storyline that is perhaps being perpetuated. We're going to have a look at a moment, Joey, that you were red hot on when it happened. It was a Nick Larkey run-down tackle. And in light of everything we've seen this week with Paul Curtis, what's your take on this?
Well, Jason and I just met at the exact same time, you know, off the Paul Curtis incident, where they're saying if you're running down from behind, you can't, you know, try and drop your knees and you might momentum take them forward, so you've got to try and roll them. So that's what Nick Larkey did in that situation. And then you're in danger of getting done for a dangerous tackle. And I know you had similar thoughts, Jason, but just watching it, you're like, so that is exactly what they're asking to do. Run down, tackle and roll them.
Yep.
But then if you roll them too much because of the momentum, it's going to be a dangerous tackle.
Yeah, he rolled him too far, Joey. He needed to roll him just a half turn,
half roll,
and just slide him carefully on his slide, and then everything would have been sweet. No, we're asking a hell of a lot from the players, aren't we? In fact, we're asking too much, and we need to put some rules in around it so that they can execute and know that they're not going to get rubbed out. At the moment, they can tackle, and it's the result of that tackle that can cost them a suspension through no fault of their own. So
feels like rolling could be more dangerous.
Well,
because you're getting that
the fine line between a roll and a sling or a whipping to the ground. So, but what's the alternative? We've got to give them something. We've got to give them an out. We have to give them a course of action. They don't know what to do at the moment.
So is he in trouble?
Oh God, I hope not. I'll be devastated if he got rubbed out for that. Now, there was no injury suffered, which is the good news. But had he come up with a concussion, well, then he's probably facing a suspension.
He's probably facing 4 weeks.
If it's a concussion,
because it's considered a spin-slinging motion.
So all he's trying to do there is run down someone and roll them.
Yeah.
And, of course, the momentum means he's rolled them too far.
So what would have been great, Joey, was what the tribunal might have done to them or said to them when they said, well, I know the last one he crashed into his back, and he said, but this one you've turned him too far. So at some stage, the tribunal, the AFL's got to come out and say, this is what you need to do, and then we won't rub you out.
I think they're building the perfect player, the tribunal.
Yeah, correct.
Doesn't exist. You got to break everything down in a matter of.
I just hope we don't get to the stage where you're not allowed to tackle from behind. What do you do?
Very tricky indeed. Also tricky will be Chiefs trivia. That is coming up after the break. Always a highlight of any Thursday night. Of course, we will have the press conferences from both coaches, Brad Scott and Alistair Clarkson, to give us their thoughts, and Wreck-It Ralph after Ralphie's stellar performance pre-game. Can't wait for that.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you by the new Ranger plug-in hybrid.
All right, folks, there we go. The Bombers got up. Well, they finally hung on. 9-11-65, defeating North Melbourne. They gave it everything, 9-8-62. I think one thing North probably could have done was just try to hit a target late in that final term. They just kept on bombing the ball back in, where the Essendon defence were able to spoil and come out with that. I think that's just one of the things. But I tell you what, Oh, North Melbourne, they get close so often and just fail. But as I said, I think a North Melbourne win is just around the corner. And once they crack that first and second win from now on, I think they might do a little bit better in that aspect. They still look pretty good. As we thought, North Melbourne would come back, and they did. They came back hard. They could only, unfortunately, put on 1 goal, 2 in that final term. 1 goal for the Bombers. 3 points for the margin. Tell you what, she was close, wasn't it? Let's just quickly run through the goal scorers and the disposal getters on the ground for today's match. And of course, Archie Perkins topped the table with 3 there for the Bombers. Nate Caddy with 2, Nick Martin, Langford, Kako Hobbs with singles. For North Melbourne, Zurha, Simkin, Larkey, all 2 goals for them. Maley and Dersmar kicked 1. A leading disposal getter on the ground, Zach Merritt, he was instrumental in Essendon's win today, of course, holding up huge in that final term. Topped the table with 35 clearances. Harry Sneeze will make no mistake. He was on top of the table for North Melbourne, 32, Tom Powell, 28. Archie Roberts there, another good game from him, 26, 11 and 15, 3 clearances. Let's just roll through these. We'll roll through the team stats before we head on out, and I'll give you an update on the games coming up. Don't forget, we had the poll in today. 64% voted for Essendon. Well done, everyone. We got that right. Disposal team stats now. There we go. Cut it back down to 32 for the Bombers, so North Melbourne did really well. Kicks pretty similar, just 20 in the handballs. Inside 50, strangely enough, North Melbourne turned the tables after half-time. They got 46 inside 50s, so they'll be very pleased with that effort. 41 for the Bombers, and their disposal efficiency actually rose, so that was good, up to 75. Free kicks, 30 to 22. You just don't often see 30 free kicks to a side, 52 free kicks in a game. That is super high. Hit-outs, North Melbourne winning that as the clearances by 2. Centre clearances by 2. Stoppage clearances all even. Contested possessions are all pretty square there. Essendon plus 13 uncontested. So North Melbourne did really well in the final term there, holding that steady. The marks there, all pretty similar. Good to see both teams picking up the marks inside 50, as did North Melbourne in that third term. They just need to lower their eyes and just have a little bit more composure going inside their forward 50 in that final term, which was good. As we see, North Melbourne actually taking 12 inside 50 marks, but all pretty much coming in that third quarter. They just need to do a little bit more in that final term. So well done to everyone. Let's just have a look. Let's just try and reload this ladder, see where they are sitting now. Essendon, of course, jump up to 11th on the ladder with 4 wins, 3 losses. Percentage still really low for Essendon, 88.6. Pretty much a game that is a percentage that they are behind. But they are on equal points with, of course, 8th position Western Bulldogs. And of course, North Melbourne, unfortunately, after 8 games so far this season, just the 1 win and 7 losses, down there on 4 points, sitting on 17th on the ladder. Coming up tomorrow night, folks, in the football, what we've got left for the round, of course, tomorrow night, 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time, we've got St Kilda taking on Fremantle. That's at Marvel Stadium. That should be a really good game. Interesting game. Can Freo perform away from home, or can St Kilda, coming off that loss, rebound? And of course, Saturday, we've got 4 games there. Western Bulldogs taking on Port Adelaide at Mars Stadium there in Ballarat. Straight after that, we've got Adelaide taking on Carlton at Adelaide Oval. That should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. Of course, the big match of Saturday, that's the mighty Magpies Collingwood taking on Geelong. That's 7:35 p.m. Saturday evening at the MCG. Of course, that is the game we'll be covering. And of course, the other game on at the same time, West Coast Eagles and Melbourne over there at Optus Stadium there in Perth. Sunday, 3 big matches coming up Sunday. These are games you don't want to miss. And it all kicks off at 1:10 p.m. Melbourne time. That's Sydney Swans taking on the GWS Giants. The Battle of the Bridge, I think it's called, up there in Sydney. And of course, at 3:20 p.m, Hawthorn taking on Richmond. It should be fantastic. The Mighty Hawks taking on the on the Brave Tigers, and of course the final game of the round, which will be an absolute clash, the Q Clash, Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast Suns, Sunday evening, 7:20 p.m. Melbourne time. But the next game we got coming up for everyone out there, of course, the St Kilda taking on Freo there tomorrow night, Marvel Stadium, 7:40 p.m. All right, folks, that is all I've got for everyone. Thanks, Blightwater supporter, for jumping on in, Triple B, Tine, Adrian, and everyone else, and Paul, who popped on in during the live broadcast of this game. Well, it was an interesting game. It was a ring-a-ding-ding. It was one that we didn't know who was going to win. We thought Essendon were going to explode away after quarter time, but we always had that feeling North Melbourne were going to peg them back. And that's exactly what they did, folks, in the third term, when North Melbourne put on those 5 goals to Essendon's 1. 1 point trail at three-quarter time, and of course, Essendon held on by the skin of their teeth by 3 points here tonight at Marvel Stadium. The Bombers by 3 points. All right, folks, ciao for now, and we'll see you tomorrow at the next game.